heart sweetly, pull me in. Truth on the tip of your tongue. Fact or fiction, which is it now? Truth is stranger and it gets too loud. What is being pushed today with gusto? I can smell the spin from a mile away.
Tires in shambles, sell me your position. Breathe off beat, I'm not buying the mission.
Truth be told, truth be told, truth be told, you're getting more in.
Have spoken now, let it drop out. Read the room, feel that doubt. Truth be told, that's the line. No more smoke, no more shine.
Truth be told, truth be told, truth be and the truth shall set you free.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Truth Be Told, where tonight we're going to be playing some catch up with some stuff that has been on the back burner for a while. First off, starting tonight will be the Houston Wade stuff. It's been a while since we've had something substantive to talk about with that, and it may get a little deeper into the weeds because I've been in the weeds, and since Amy couldn't make it tonight and Platinum couldn't make it tonight, it's going to be more of like a extra episode where we just kind of chillax and take things at a nice easy pace, because I think there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here with the case, but let's pop into that just to get everyone up to speed. This was almost 2 weeks ago, that basically at the last omnibus meeting, we had gotten a heads up from Houston Wade's lawyers that he was going to be trying to file some sort of motion to dismiss. I think I talked about back and forth with it, and some sort of quash motion. I had supposed at that time that it might be something to do with, they think that that the person who had operated the sting might have done it improperly, and if they can make it seem like he was coerced rather than, because when you're doing a sting, you don't just you can't just directly outright be like, hey, do you want to diddle little kids? You have to make it their choice. You can't at any step of the process in the Houston Wade context, you can't suggest it. It has to be their suggestion, otherwise it's entrapment. You basically try to get them to do the criminal act instead of the criminal act being of their own volition. I thought maybe that's what they're trying to get out. I mean, they've spent almost half a year going through discovery and evidence, and then we got something completely different. Basically, they filed a motion to suppress the evidence, which I expected, but on a completely different side journey. They are trying to get it suppressed under posse comitatus for NCIS's involvement. Now, as a brief speed catch up for some of the people who don't know what that is, I didn't know what it is until all the stuff that was going on with the immigration stuff that Trump's been doing. Posse comitatus is basically the act where you're not supposed to use the military for civilian purposes. Like, the investigation should be conducted by civilian operators that the military can help. Their resources can, aid civil law enforcement, but it has to be civil law enforcement running the show. If the government, if the military is the ones running the show, then it violates federal law. So I do like Winged Rhino's write-up. He He was the one who kind of broke the story on this, because I haven't been able to follow it near as closely. So he basically broke down that sort of what I explained, that because the investigation was started by NCIS, and we'll get into their actual document here, and they cite Dreyer, which is hence the title. We're in Dreyer Straits. That they should basically overturn. So they should suppress the evidence related to the sting. Which, remember, the sting was the reason they got the warrant to search his car and search his house in the first place, and found the other CSAM content he had. So basically, this motion to quash is aiming to just destroy the entire evidentiary basis of the case, which they admit as much, because they also asked for dismissal of the case, because, you know, if you quash the entire sting, then the foundation for all evidence that was gained from the sting also has to go away, and then you have no case. So that's the argument line that they are going down. I'm going to take a little time to actually go over this, kind of like it is, you know, an extra. And if we go a little long, then who cares? Settle in, get your favorite whiskey. Let's go. All right. So they're talking. So basically, the whole thing was initiated by special agents, the Naval Criminal Investigation Services, NCIS, which is a branch of the Navy. Certified class being an undercover contact person alleging to be Houston Wade. Yeah, they're going to use alleged because they don't want to like completely tip their hat and be like, oh, by the way, that's the thing. Like with the title that Winged Rhino had, it's a little ahead of the track. Yeah, Houston Wade's lawyers are basically, by making this argument, kind of giving up the ghost that they think they can't win on the merits. But also at the same time, while that is a nice argument to go after, I can understand why going after that. If you're going to bring up something on appeal, you have to bring it up here in the actual trial court. So if they want to make an appeal based on this later down the road, or, you know, do some sort of interlocutory appeal, they have to kind of bring it up like now. So regardless of if they, you know, think they can win on the merits, if this is a logical line that ends the case, good. If this, you know, isn't right now and they win it on appeal, then they have to bring it up. So as much as, yes, it is cheeky and probably right that they don't think they can win on the merits, given how good the evidence is. I mean, we've already discussed it on this channel. Like, dude was soliciting minors to masturbate on camera for him. So, I mean, it's really hard to walk away from evidence like that. You're kind of screwed. So, I mean, they're going to continue to say alleged, even though, I mean, I think it's pretty, the conclusions that you can draw from the evidence are pretty stark. Special Agent Maine continued that undercover investigation for approximately 87 days before turning over the investigation to the Bremerton Police Department. And that's the part that they're going to like drill home on, is that this whole investigation took 87 days. But the problem, and I'll go into it in a little bit more detail, is that, you know, the defense doesn't actually have any evidence that, like, the fact that they waited 87 days to contact the local police in Bremerton is somehow, you know, bad. And we'll get into that a bit more. But that's the whole crux of their argument, is that this was clearly an operation led by NCIS, a military institution against a civilian, and that's not allowed under posse comitatus. Defendant is a civilian. The probable cause statement identifies no military personnel, no military property, and no military installation connected to this investigation. NCIS had no legitimate independent military purpose for targeting this defendant. Federal law and binding Ninth Circuit authority prohibits NCIS agents from acting as undercover investigations and law enforcement operations that lack a military nexus. Now, this one's a little tricky because, I mean, when we talk about a military nexus, 1 second here, I want to get the notes out I had. Like when we're talking about a military nexus, it's not as like hammer home as it seems like it should sound. A military nexus, kind of like a lot of legal nexuses, is kind of a broad subject. um when you're talking about a military nexus, it's anything that's reasonably or kind of rationally related to the military. So, I mean, a military nexus could easily be, you were searching some third party app that was suspected to be used by the military. And if you happen to trip over non military personnel, so long as you're not the lead after you figure that out, I mean, that still has a military nexus. So, the term military nexus gets a little tricky, as we're going to delve into and find out when it comes to matters related to internet sting operations for child predators. um Facts supporting motion to suppress and dismissal. The following facts are drawn from the probable cause statement and the discovery materials provided to the defense counsel to date. The NCIS investigation originated on August 29th, 2025, after SA Maine, employed by NCIS, began investigating possible chats on social media platforms after intending an internet crimes against children certified UC chat class. On August 29th, SA Maine initiated undercover contact with an individual claiming to be Mr. Wade. During that period, SA continued to chat communications with individuals, including sending altered photographs between August 29th and November 24th. SA Maine continued these chat communications posing as an 11-year-old child. On November 3rd, SA contacted Officer Brandon Smith from Bremerton Police Department, and on November 24th, Bremerton Police Force took over the investigation. By all available evidence, SA Maine conducted an NCIS investigative operation without any preceding or parallel civil investigation. Moreover, from Officer Smith's report, it is clear that SA Maine initiated any surveillance into person she believed to be the defendant. The Bremerton Police Department investigation was initiated as a clear and direct result of SA Maine's investigation. The Bremerton Police Department relied entirely upon the NCIS investigation. SA Maine is not a Bremerton Police Department civilian officer, and that's kind of the crux of their entire argument. Part A of our legal standards, Posse Comitatus Act, like we said, prohibits the Army and Air Force from civilian law enforcement. Strangely, has a bit of a loophole that hasn't been fixed, and that's the dealing with the Navy. But there are other parts of it, like right here, USC Section 375 directs the Secretary of Defense to issue regulations prohibiting all branches of the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, from participating in these same activities. So while the Posse Comitatus Act doesn't directly prevent it, 10 USC Section 375 does, and is similar enough that they're generally considered roughly the same thing. Both prior regulations and DoD Directive 5525.5 expressly prohibit the use of military personnel for surveillance or pursuit of individuals or as informants, undercover agents, investigators, or interrogators. Yeah, and so they get into Dreyer at this point, and there's a lot of problems with using Dreyer. And we'll kind of break them down here. Why don't we scoot over to Dreyer briefly? So one thing that is a big problem with using Dreyer, which is US v. Dreyer, an appeal to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, is kind of the fact pattern of Dreyer. So let me see if I can minimize this just a little bit here. So The background in Dreyer was Steve Logan was a special agent for NCIS. And he used this program called Roundup. And basically what Roundup does is an investigating tool that monitors online distribution of known CSAM content. So the computer does a search, and if you have questionable content, it flags it. It's basically a dragnet. And what the problem in Dreyer was, it has a whole list of the entire content and hash values, and basically you can set sort of parameters, and the parameters that were used in Dreyer were kind of not particularly narrow. They just picked like a 25-mile radius of any IPs within the let me see here. So then, go away. Shared child partner Logan agreed and used the Roundup search, to do peer-to-peer file sharing, and the query encompassed the entire. Oh, see, I thought it was like a mile radius of a certain thing. No, it was just the entire state of Washington. You see why this is a problem for an NCIS agent who is basically going, I want to know everyone distributing child porn in the state of Washington, and then just hits search. You're going to get a lot of civilians, and there is no real nexus to some sort of investigation of military personnel. He just went, find me everyone who has this in the state of Washington. Are you seeing where there might be some, where this fact pattern might be different from the Houston Wade case? So in Dreyer, it was found that yes, this violated the Posse Comitatus Act because they didn't narrow the parameters enough to where it could be that the person could have accidentally been picked up, but it was, narrowly tailored to try and find military personnel. And that's been generally how this works with, Posse Comitatus situations. If you were in the process of a military investigation and you happen in the course of pursuing that investigation trip over a civilian who happens to be doing the same criminal conduct, then the military can take that investigation and, recommend it to the local civil authorities, or the civil authorities can go to them and ask them for help. It's about control of the investigation, who is pretty much operating the investigation, and what's the nexus that would lead to it being reasonable that the military should be involved. And that was the problem with Dreyer, is like the search wasn't narrow enough. It was obviously going to collect up civilians that should not have been targeted in it. That should have been something for the civilian government to go into. But the other thing in Dreyer that was brought up in this case, and it's 42 pages, so I'm just going to give a summary. I'm not going to read all 42 pages. That would bore you to death. But the situation in Dreyer was that they basically concluded that, yes, this is a violation of the Posse Comitatus Act. But the big hang up in here for Houston Wade is that they said it did not rise to the level for suppressing the evidence, because suppressing evidence is an extraordinary claim. When you have a violation of civil liberties, sort of, or let's just call it a violation of the Posse Comitatus Act in this case, because that's more accurate. If you have a violation of procedures that should be done by military investigators, or just, regular civilian investigators, suppressing evidence is a very high bar. You have to do something really serious, because the point is to discourage investigators from doing the bad thing they never should have done. And that means the first remedies that are going to come up are things that punish the individual person for their no-no. If a person, especially in a criminal investigation where, these are people who the evidence seemed to suggest did bad things, and to just wipe off the evidence and let them walk scot-free, an as much as maybe that should be the remedy that happens because the investigators done fucked up, it doesn't look good when you have to explain that to the public, especially in the Houston Wade situation, if they do get this. So it like suppressing evidence is considered a very harsh and very extreme remedy that you need to justify. There needs to be a pattern of behavior, which was outlined in Dreyer. There has to be like a institutional pattern of behavior that there was a concerted effort to ignore the rules, or that it was policy to ignore the rules. One of the things that in Dreyer that was considered was that NCIS at the time was changing its policies to update them with current law that had changed, among other things. And so there was a confusion on what was it that an investigator can do. And so even though in Dreyer they concluded that, yes, this broad range dragnet across the state of Washington for people who are, transmitting CSAM content, that's not allowed. But it doesn't rise to the level of suppressing the evidence because it didn't look like it was, willful is an imprecise word, but it didn't look like that NCIS was willfully trying to break the rules. It was something that you could remedy NCIS's behavior with a lesser punishment, and it wasn't likely that, the problem was going to come up again. So you'll see a lot of people saying that Dreyer, and reasonably so, because the conclusion was that, it didn't rise to the level for suppression. But some people mistake it as there never can be a case for suppression. And that's not what the Ninth Circuit en banc said. They just said, in this case, with this fact pattern, with the situation we have before us, it doesn't reach the level where suppression is warranted. Maybe with another fact pattern at another time in a theoretical world that has yet to exist, a motion to suppress evidence because of the Posse Comitatus Act could happen, but it has not happened yet. So that's basically Dreyer. So they're going to bring up Dreyer, and remember the fact pattern in Dreyer, because it's going to be important here as we kind of go into what they're going to argue. The controlling question is whether NCIS Special Agent Main's conduct had a legitimate independent military purpose, like we discussed. Where an investigation is reasonably tied to military bases, facilities, military personnel, or military equipment, it may fall within the recognized exception. When it does not, the investigation violates the Posse Comitatus Act, like restrictions. On the record available, this is the key thing here. On the record available, like the defense is admitting, there's just not enough evidence here to, conclude one way or the other, court. The investigation has no military nexus. SA Main targeted a person she believed to be a civilian defendant through an undercover chat investigation, then pursued independent investigation for 3 months. See, I don't like how that sentence is framed. On the record available, like they say on the record available, which seems to suggest that there's not enough information to draw conclusions, but then they draw a conclusion that, SA Main targeted a person that she knowingly believed was a civilian, which, are we sure about that? Because if so, I would think that you would have some statement about her foreknowledge of it being a civilian defendant. And this kind of gets, in my mind, where things start getting interesting and start becoming more theory, because the defense is admitting there are gaps here that we don't know. And the biggest thing with the Houston Wade situation, like they brought up, was the whole 80 days, nearly 3 months, that this investigation went on, and we don't know enough yet. And like again, and despite knowing that there was no military nexus, but was there? Because like this is a sting operation. So first of all, the attempt of a sting on, I can't believe there's an app called Hush for one. Like I know I'm bringing up a dead body from back in December, but the app is called Hush. What do you think is going on there? Doesn't sound like it's stuff that you want anyone else to know. But like the whole point of a sting operation. Hey, how you doing, Manny? The whole part of it, like the sting, is that you're trying to get someone, and if it's an online situation where everybody is anonymous, you don't know who the person is at the beginning. And I think that's what the argument that the state is going to make. And I think that's the argument NCIS is going to make. Our intent was to get military targets. We have to initiate contact not knowing if they're the military, if they're a military personnel, but we have a reasonable suspicion that there are people potentially using Hush to, do child abuse on the internet, or to lure, or to lure minors for sexual contact. The way that is going to, like, and again, we don't know. The defense even admits they don't know. But that's the argument I think is likely to go down. That the sting had a direct had a military nexus. It's just when you're doing a sting of anonymous people online, there is no way to know at first if the person you were targeting is military personnel. As soon as you initiate the contact with the person, you have to have the conversation that establishes that, yes, they want to try and do nasty, dirty, horrible things with a minor. And once you set that parameter, now they are in the trap. So now we need to find who this person is. We need to look up their IP address of how they're connecting. We need to subpoena that information, which is going to take time. Well, not subpoena. They need to get a warrant for that information. So that's going to take time. So once you've gotten that, an IP address is not a physical address. You need to, find out who's the owner behind it. If he was doing the contact from a cell phone, it makes it a little bit easier because then you can go to the service provider and track it back. Or if he's doing it from some internet service, it could very well be that, we know that Houston Wade was living with a roommate. So it probably was his roommate that was on the bill that was the subscriber. Or we don't even know if necessarily the phone that Houston Wade had was under his name. These are all things that NCIS would have to investigate to be able to determine who was the person likely that they were talking to. And if you think that suddenly you're like instigating the sting operation, and then suddenly, NCIS just magically, they have this like sixth sense power. They open up their third eye and they know that the person on the other end of the communication is a civilian and we should just drop this case. Like, no, that takes time. And I think, they make a big deal about, it took 80 days for them to turn over the case to the Bremerton Police Department. And in my mind, I'm sitting here, and maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm wrong. Again, we don't have the evidence on the record yet. Again, something the defense admits. But in my mind, I'm looking like 80 days to try and figure out who Houston Wade is seems kind of reasonable when you have to go through all of the legal channels necessary to get who's behind this account, or at least a reasonable assumption who's behind this account. And then once you know who that person is, now you need to find out if that person is military personnel or civilian. And back to that military personnel thing, it could very well that they'd also need to investigate if the person was not necessarily military personnel, but again, has that military nexus. Are they maybe the spouse of someone who's in the military? Are they military, are they civilian personnel that are subject to military, regulations because of their nexus to the military? in that sort of way. So, like, I get it. I get why they're making a big deal about the 80 days, but without more factual, discovery or more information into that, I don't think 80 days is unreasonable or is unreasonable as the defense is making, unless we know more information about that entire situation, which is why I think that, it'll be interesting to see what the state's response is, but I think we're going to get more discovery and definitely a hearing on this, because there's way more to this that's just missing. Moreover, SA Main used ICAC chat methodology developed for and administered by civil law enforcement. This is not a case where NCIS was investigating service members or protecting military property. Again, that's just conclusory. We don't know that. SA Main's conduct falls within with the express prohibition on acting as an undercover agent without a military nexus. Again, we don't know. We don't know. An 87-day independent undercover investigation is not passive monitoring or a mere referral, nor was SA Main's actions passive when she initiated conversations, solicited photographs, and sent altered photographs. It is an active investigation which the directive expressly prohibits. State v. Short does not require a different result. The NCIS instigated a joint operation with local law enforcement. So they're going to go into the different cases where where local law enforcement, where NCIS participated in investigations, but they're saying that because local law enforcement asked them to participate, or local law enforcement was the lead in the investigation, that's why it was permissible. NCIS wasn't the lead. The military wasn't the lead in these other cases. Local law enforcement was. SA Main's report is captioned differently to Bremerton's police department report. Captioning was clearly part of a separate case number and filing system. This is evidence. So they're saying this originally started out as an NCIS investigation and clearly was started by them. The fact that there's two different case numbers establishes that. SA Main's conduct also constitutes an unauthorized assertion of military authority under the Washington suppression standard, prohibiting on acting as an undercover agent without a military nexus, is expressly stated in DOD and confirmed as binding. An NCIS SA who completes a civilian ICAC training program and then independently conducts a 3-month undercover investigation with no military nexus and no civilian oversight is not operating within any authorized scope. This is an unauthorized assertion of military authority. Again, the entire structure of this continues to be that, we already know, but we don't know, because we admitted we don't know, but we know. Suppression is also warranted under the deterrence prong. The Ninth Circuit declined to suppress in Dreyer because the Navy had acknowledged the violation, was correcting its practices, and DOD had issued new regulations. None of these circumstances apply here. This investigation occurred using a civilian law enforcement training credential with no identified military purpose. All evidence flowing from SA Main's investigation must be suppressed. Her undercover communications and investigative work were the foundation for Bremerton Police Department investigation. Her investigation violates Washington state law and the defendant's constitutional rights, and any discovery as a result of her investigation is tainted. Any warranted application, statements, and digital evidence derived from that work are tainted. There is no independent source, no inevitable discovery, and no attenuation on the record available. Bremerton Police Department has no independent knowledge of this defendant before the NCIS referral, and we're not investigating the defendant. Where suppression leaves the state without sufficient evidence, then dismissal is required. Again, like the big problem big problems I have with this is just that they admit that there's a lack of evidence. So we know that there's probably going to be some sort of discovery that's going on here. Um, the Dreyer situation again is where I think the distinction is with the entire Houston Wade saga case. Dreyer, like I said, it was a big, broad dragnet across the whole state. And that's why, the situation in Dreyer was not allowed. Like there was no military nexus. It was obvious there was no military nexus. They just decided to do a giant sweep for CSAM content being shared peer-to-peer online. And they didn't do anything to try and narrow it to military personnel or an area where military personnel might be, even though they reasonably could have. The dragnet was obviously going to pick up civilians, and that was never considered when they did the dragnet. Whereas in the Houston Wade case, we don't know. And just, from my knowledge about, internet conversations, contact with anonymous sources and everything, you really have to talk to SA Main, and you really have to look at why this investigation started and all the factors around that to really understand if this fits within Dreyer's scope, because because like it could be a legitimate sting operation. They're looking like they could have gotten a tip that um that military personnel were using Hush, or they could have been told that reasonably Hush was being used for that purpose, and they were trying to find military personnel who were, basically soliciting minors on a app called Hush. I'll let you fill in the blanks there. Why it's called Hush, but like that's the part that I think needs to come out here, and it'll be interesting again, like I said, when we get a response from the state, because that'll give us more clarity as to whether or not what the defense is proposing actually has teeth. And again, you get into the situation that even if there was no purpose, that does it rise to the level that you need to reach for the highest sanction? If this was a rogue agent, and I don't mean a rogue agent like a crazy person, but like they got this training and they decided to apply this training and didn't think through the process that they should have done, then I don't think that Dreyer, like, I think the outcome would be like Dreyer. I don't think Dreyer stands for what they think they're going to get out of it, because, again, like I said, it's all about, was there a structure? Was it like a military instituted policy to basically say, fuck the rules, get them pedos? Like that's what more leads to like suppression and that level there. Is it like an institutional thing going on at NCIS that they just say, fuck the rules, we're going to do what we want? That would more lean towards it being suppressed. If, say, SA Main just kind of did this on her own, and didn't really get or seek the approval that she should have, it gets a lot more fuzzy as to whether like suppression is really necessary when you could just punish the officer who did the thing that they weren't supposed to. And then, SA Main gets punished, but we don't get a suppression. There's a lot of like gray in here and variables that are going to come out as, the whole thing gets fully briefed. And like I said, I bet you there's going to be more discovery into this and a hearing. So I don't think like the narrative lines up. And this is the problem sometimes when you're like looking at legal citations, when you're looking at case law, and when you're looking at the common law, is that a specific ruling is often tied to a specific circumstance. Finally got it out. And so trying to apply a ruling that is derived from a from a particular fact pattern to another case that has a completely different fact pattern, that gets kind of iffy. You can't really just, apply things and just be like, yeah, that is that like for like on that. That is the same thing. Because I don't think the Houston Wade case is the same thing, especially when they start digging into it. I think it's going to be even less like the thing that they think it is. So in some, like, where I'm at on the whole Houston Wade thing is I don't think I don't well, I don't know, because like we said, the defense doesn't even know. So we're gonna have to look into that more. But I don't think they're going to get suppression. You might, depending on how it sets up and what facts we learn, they may very well say that yes, this violated the Posse Comitatus Act, just like in Dreyer, but because of the particular fact pattern and the what we do know versus what is and what is likely, based on what's before, on the record, I don't see them getting suppression. I just don't. But when you're in Houston Wade's position and when you're in the position that his defense is in, I mean, you got to pretty much throw it out there and hope it works, because the evidence is really bad. The evidence is very bad for your client. And at the very least, it preserves it for appeal. So that way, even if you lose here, you can always, try and appeal later based on that this shouldn't have been allowed in the first instance. But I don't have really a whole lot of feeling that it's going to work out like Houston thinks it was, or it will, or that his lawyers hope it will. If anything, though, the real big problem with it is it's going to push the trial back, because now you're talking about having an entire discussion about how did the investigation happen? Why did it happen? You're looking into the entire NCIS stuff. You're going to need more discovery. There's going to be hearings on it. It was planned for September. I don't think that's happening. October, November. So now we're looking at it, being almost a year since Houston Wade was arrested, that we finally get this thing to trial. Maybe. I don't know. It's just I don't think that September date's going to hold out. But I think that's it for now for the Houston Wade episode. Like I said, I'm kind of waiting to see how the state responds to this. It'll be interesting. That, I think, will be the real thing that lets us know more about what this situation is. But we'll see. I still think he's royally screwed, but we'll see if this actually pans out for him. Moving on to our mainstream stuff. Before we get into our meme stock stuff, I personally was saving this for Amy, but Amy said she wasn't going to make it tonight, so I may hold it for later. But this whole story, well, I mean, not hold it, but save most of the bits of it for when she can come back on again. This whole Citadel situation that's unfolded this week is very interesting. At the beginning of this requires a build up to our main story here, but Citadel had said at the beginning of the week that they thought the Fed was likely to cut rates, and then the Fed did not cut rates. It left rates unchanged. So I guess that prediction didn't work out. Regardless of that, on that sort of news, South Korean markets slide 40% as the whole AI bubble seems to be having some issues, which had downstream effects on other people, namely situational awareness, that basically was leveraged to the tits, as we say, as I believe the term is, and immediately proceeded to just blow up on itself. This led to basically Citadel having to buy the entire portfolio of situational awareness to basically save them from themselves, after being, what was it, like 4x levered on, AI hopium picks. Oh, so like, not the complete blow up of the AI bubble, but definitely someone who was out there without any clothes when the tide pulled back, as it were. Um, Although Amy isn't here, she is here in spirit because she did find us a clip on this. Guys, there were warning signs. Okay, let's hear this clip because I don't think I've heard it yet. Let's go.
That's the short summary of my post or my view on the project.
Okay, they're just making fun of the guy for like laughing to okay. I thought there was something more material there, but okay. So basically the entire narrative is that it's like a meme stock story, except it's for, AI tech bros. It's really like it's in the mainstream section, but it could have probably been in the meme stock section because it has the same dumb, stupid narrative. So apparently, because this company that was 4x levered in such stupid ways, it was all because the evil short sellers, and Citadel purposely sent out the report that that there was going to be rate hikes to basically target Leopold's position intentionally so they could buy up his stocks at cheap. This is like like George Soros level financial conspiracies. The evil insiders on Wall Street went out there and they purposely kneecapped the competition so that they could steal their stuff. It's just but like the fund was like, yeah, like I said, 4x leverage on high beta memory and AI infrastructure plays. When, like we said, once you get to a certain point, like you should have been able to see this. The writing was already on the wall. We've seen a lot of these AI companies that have had their balance sheets and their financial statements leaked, or they've produced them and they're not healthy. They're not great. And they're starting to have to make cuts because they're just inherently not profitable. And so that's, these infrastructure companies, these AI infrastructure companies with like memory and graphics cards and things like that, their stock prices have taken a hit because, future guidance that the always upward motion of these companies that narrative is starting to be broken down a bit. Sidebar still hasn't stopped me from holding on to NVIDIA because, like I said, their SoC stuff for laptops and desktops, I think of it just like my Qualcomm position. I think that's the future of retail computing. So I ain't scared. It's just gonna probably suck for a bit. But yeah, when you're like levered to the tits like this and things start bending the opposite direction, you get hit much harder than someone would if they were just in a normal position like any normie. And at that point, that's nobody's fault but your own. Yeah, don't do stupid stuff. What was it that Charlie Munger used to say? There's three things that will make a man poor. It's liquor. There's another L in there, but leverage is the last one. You can't. The only way you can lose more than you've put in is if you use leverage. So yeah, I just don't play with fire. I know that we are steering mostly clear of the Andrew Tate stuff, but this was just too priceless. Dude bro decided to do the big fucking dumb and then was surprised. He got a very shocked Pikachu face when he got arrested. So dude bro flies a drone to the window where Andrew Tate is at a federal prison in Miami, flies the drone up there, and is shocked when he gets arrested and charged with a felony for it. Oh no! Oh no! Who could have seen this coming? Everybody, like literally anybody. I just do 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 do. I think we'll save that one for all those for later, because I kind of want to just skip over that for now. Executive decisions. We may come back to it. We'll see. James Fishback recently had some good news for himself. He managed to survive the attempt to take him off the ballot in Florida by Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins. I'm not sure I actually agree with that decision, but I get why the judge ruled as he did, that generally, as the law sets, that there's a presumption of residency, and unless like you actually, revoke your residency, then you're technically, so long as you have some nexus with the state, then you're considered a resident. I think that's a real loose interpretation and kind of silly, and pretty much makes laws for residency for the purposes of elections like Florida has kind of pointless. But sure, cool. If that's the precedent, then cool. I don't agree with it, but cool. That's, I guess, how that works. Not that that's helping Fishback, because it seems like he is starting to struggle in the campaign raising department. For the entire last month, only has managed to collect around 27. Oh, wait, why do you get the 2,700? Oh, between the two. Okay, so total 9K. Not exactly going to help your campaign all that much. Next up, as we head into memes, as we get closer to Meme Stock Town, is a collection that I like to call the SEC and how much I hate them videos by Chairman Atkins. So let's let her rip.
We are down, actually, the number of public companies is about half of what it was 30 years ago. So that's one thing that, I've said.
Half of what it was 30 years ago? You mean during the peak of the tech bubble? Like, I mean, sure, if we're going to make weird ass comparisons,
to try to change, to make IPOs great again, make it cool to be a public company again. And there's so many impediments to it that make companies stay private rather than venture out into the public markets. And it's good for American investors to have a very robust way for them to participate in the economy, and that's through public companies.
Well, the problem, Mr. Atkins, Chairman Atkins, is that a lot of the reason why not a lot of these public companies are coming out is I think the regulations are fine where they should be. One. Number two, it's because there's not a lot of good startup companies that just make money anymore. And the IPOs that do come out are usually sleazy piles of shit. See the most recent one with SpaceX, where they're leveraged to the tits. They don't make any money, and they have a pervasive predatory system by which insiders will profit from equity at the expense of equity holders over the latter course of this year. So, like, the problem I have with this, like, make IPOs great again thing, is that there are so many shitcos that are IPOing. I'm kind of okay with us not having a lot of IPOs. And then there's like a lot of people that are trying to get around that by doing SPACs. And of course, again, that's the reason why SPACs are just another way to say scam and fraud. They're just a colloquial term for it because all these companies skirt the rules about reporting. They backdoor IPO, and then it turns out that the company was a piece of shit and never should have IPO'd in the first place. It's almost like there's a reason why this is all going on. It's my big beef here that basically it just sounds like he wants more fraud in the stock market, and I'm not interested, and you shouldn't be either. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, on Fox Business, this should be a winner.
We have 40% fewer public companies today than we had 30 years ago.
Oh, it's the same thing over again.
Because
Whoopsies.
it's comfortable to stay private. And so what we're trying to do at the SEC is to make it cool to be public.
Well, I think that's part of it's cool to remain private. I think a lot of it because there's a lot of private equity firms have some cash into companies, and you know, it's easier to just stay private. And like, again, why do you need to be a public company? There are plenty of completely perfect, you know, private companies that operate just fine as a private company. They don't need to be public unless they need access to that liquidity. Who says they need, like, this whole thing about there needs to be more public companies? It just seems like an impetus for creating a bubble, as if we need another fucking one between crypto, AI, and SPACs before all of them. You know, just make an IPO bubble to go with the other 3 fucking bubbles that we have going on. It'll be great. It'll be super great. Don't you worry. Don't look too hard into it. Speaking of bubbles, I think it's time for meme stocks. Let's do this. Again, Amy is not here with us right now, but she is with us in spirit. We had a segment brought to us by Congressman Ralph Norman. I can't wait. I bet the vibes here are going to be super awesome for everyone in the MMTLP community. I'm sure they will love this clip.
Proper course to take.
And another thing people wanted to talk about was MMTLP. They feel like that you were, this is the Meta Materials and Torchlight Energy. They felt like you came out aggressively for them. You wanted to fight hard, and they felt abandoned, and people cite FOIA requests where the issue was just kind of left behind. What would you say to the people who are disappointed in your stance or action or whatever you make of what they're saying to criticize you on that deal?
They can criticize me, but I did everything I could. They bought over-the-counter stocks. The stocks, different...
There's a reason why you have to sign a disclosure that says, yes, I know I'm buying really shitty liquid companies. I understand I might be a fucking idiot. I will not hold my brokerage firm liable for basically trading on the OTC market. They're risky stocks, and unless you understand that risk, allocate your portfolio accordingly, and really just simply don't be stupid. Don't be stupid.
Companies are in lawsuits. You couldn't get any information. I hate they made an investment and lost it. And I met countless times. I put our staff on it, but I can't make a company that has defrauded, and I think they did defraud the customers who bought the stock. But I can't undo that. When you
I can't undo the fact that Meta Materials defrauded its shareholders. Way to go there, Ralph.
buy stock over the counter, or really when you invest in stock, you take a risk. And it's simply unfounded. If you ask anybody, I did everything I know to do. And I hate it happen, but I can't put toothpaste back in the tube and go back and have them not invest in it. They invested in it, and a lot of military and just regular citizens, and I hate it for them, but I can't control that. And it's like the CILFAB, I'm not on the approving bodies that approve their use. I can't go back to the companies that defrauded them. And I think they got a case for that.
All right, and we'll see how that plays out in the court system.
We're already going to find out. You know, we've got the first SEC lawsuit that's still going on. You probably a second one that's in the barrel. I mean, Ralph hinted at it there's an ongoing investigation, like he said. And then you've got the two like civil lawsuits, the one directly going after management for their screwy shit, and the other one trying to reorganize the board because what they've done is been a complete fucking sham. So I don't want to tell you there. That I'm probably going to save for later because there's a lot of stuff that I plan and I bookmark to talk about, but I just don't have the knowledge or the ability to talk about it without like that's the whole reason why this show is a 3-person show, is because there's certain parts of the market that each of us kind of cover over or keep our eyes on, and so I'll bookmark things to remind myself to bring it up, but sometimes it's just like I never get around to doing it, and it's gonna get a lot worse here because I'm gonna be doing a lot more stuff besides this, and it's gonna be a little bit harder to keep up with everything. But we'll try, and we'll move on for now to something I missed last week. I don't know how I missed it, but in the never-ending quest of Scott Trout to pursue down grifter piece of shit Wes Christian, you know, there's a lot of things that me and Scott don't agree on about this whole MMTLP situation. But if there's one thing that we can agree on, it's that Wes Christian is the biggest fucking turd in the punch bowl. So Scott brought forward this motion. We're gonna go over it really quick, and I'm gonna see if I've got some thoughts on it because I don't think I've read it in full, or I kind of skimmed it, and we'll see how this goes. Moving Scott Trout appearing pro se submits this reply in support of the motion. Christian now admits under penalty of perjury that Christian at Ater was hired by Nextbridge Hydrocarbons in approximately December 2024. That admission places Christian at Ater in a NBH engagement while Christian was already serving as special counsel to the metal materials estate. Before the February 18, 2025 public announcement of NBH retention, and before any complete Rule 2014 disclosure of the 2014 disclosure the relationship. The issue is therefore not theoretical. The July 1st, 2026 filing confirms and overlaps clients' relationships that should have been disclosed promptly and fully. The record is now sufficient at minimum to require a full supplemental Rule 2014 disclosure, production or in-camera review of NBH engagement records, and a freeze further. Well, I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but let's read his argument here. Publicly announced on February that it had Wes Christian to explore potential claims related to harassment, business disparagement, libel, slander, tortious interference, conspiracy, obstruction of justice. Oh, come on. Christian admitted under penalty of perjury that Christian Ader was hired by MBH in approximately December 2024, nearly 2 months before his public announcement. On November 4th, 2024, the court entered docket 118 and approved Trout's the trustee's employment of Christian Wes Christian to be special litigation counsel, active representative at MBH. Yep. On May 2nd, 2025, Wes Christian filed a motion to withdraw as attorneys of record MBH. Yep. However, Christian executed a sworn affidavit in Christian v. Trout. While I do not have a conflict of interest in those cases, the allegations that I am somehow engaged in a cover-up related to the MMTLP SKU has been. Has Trout ever said that there was like some sort of cover-up? Because I don't think that's ever been Scott's position. his position has been the position I am, that like this cross party, especially when it sounds like the metamaterials estate is going to be going after the, you know, shiesty people that, you know, did the whole MMTLP next bridge stuff, like McCabe and Berta, to claw back money for the estate. I don't think it's ever been Scott's position that supposedly that there was some cover up related to the fiasco, so much as it's a conflict of interest that Wes Christian is simultaneously representing the interests supposedly of NextBridge Hydrocarbons and its executives, while supposedly also representing the best interests of the the metamaterials estate. That's just wild. I think that's wild to anyone who's been paying attention to this. And I think that's the only thing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. That's the only thing that I know Scott has said as far as that matter. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't recall that. Thus, as a result of Trout's defamatory conduct, I withdrew from the representation to ensure the false allegations did not distract from my client's goals. The May 2nd, 2025 withdrawal filings and the June 16, 2025 affidavit give materially different explanations for the same withdrawal event. The July 1st, 2026 declaration adds another material fact that NBH's engagement began in December 2024 and has been uninterrupted despite Christian stating the opposite in the two other courts. And the June 16, 2025 affidavit was under oath. This is material falsity or just another attempt to be less than transparent under Texas, Nevada, and U.S. professional conduct rules. Davis lawsuit date discrepancy. Christian's July 1st, 2026 declaration also creates or confirms a separate date problem concerning MBH lawsuit against Jeff Davies. The plaintiff's original petition in the NextBridge Hydrocarbons v. Davies bears the e-file stamp showing a filing March 18, 2026. By contrast, Christian's July 1st, 2026 declaration describes the Davies lawsuit as filed in June 2026. I don't think... I mean, yeah, that's a discrepancy, but I don't think it's that material. I mean, is it wrong? Yeah, but like, is it Christian's July 1st declaration therefore misstated the filing date nearly 3 months and understated the period during which Christian continued MBH litigation activity after Christian had previously represented that he had withdrawn or been forced to cease representation. Christian is trying to somehow convince the court that work on the Davies case transpired after the court's February 5th, 2026. Oh, okay. 2026 order. The corrected date issue matters because it bears on the scope and duration of Adder's work. I don't know if it matters that much, but yeah, I don't know if that matters too much, but we'll see. Chart of material inconsistencies. Okie dokie. Yeah, I hope Davies date discrepancy. Yeah, see, I don't think that. I don't know. This pending sanctions motion remains relevant. The court should also consider movements pending cross motion for sanctions. Disqualification referral docket 2167 entered September 2nd, 2025, which remains unresolved. The motion addresses Christian's sworn statements concerning Gary. Oh, that ham short killer. Yeah. And the public evidence Trout contends contradicts those statements, although the present reply focuses on the 2024 emissions of Davies date discrepancies. Yeah. I will agree with him that his ability to not keep dates straight in his head definitely definitely makes you wonder if he's paying as much attention as he should be to things. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a thing. Now his remarks demand rebuttal. At this point, laws regular attacks on movement need to be answered. Okay, Lovato refers to a disqualified effort by individuals who readily admit that they are not shareholders of Meta and then question standing to participate. Trout has filed two. Okay. In summary, Lovato has stated that movement wastes the court's time. I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily a waste of time to bring up that Wes Christian is scuzzy as all get out, but I can see where she thinks that the arguments are not. How do I put this? Arguments aren't they're splitting hairs. Like, if we go back up to the whole discrepancy about the Jeff Davies case thing, like, is it wrong? Yes. Is it material and something that the court needs to really review to determine if Wes is somehow, a conflict of interest? I don't think so. And I can see where she's kind of suggesting this whole thing. Trout to now years operating under a proposed litigation funding agreement, Parabellum Capital, that would have set up Niagara Falls level waterfall for state attorneys, especially Wes Christian, where roughly 44 million of the first 50 million recovered went to them and Parabellum. Yeah. And to be fair, the court picked that up. The court picked up that was skeezy as all shit, and that there was going to need to be public disclosures, and it quietly went away. But yeah, I think there should be some more time spent on Wes if you're if things like this keep coming up. Let's see here. So, needless to say, interesting stuff. I don't think it's going to get the results that he wants, because I don't think there's anything material enough there yet to suggest that, I would have focused more on the Parabellum stuff, because it's clear that Wes is acting in his own interests, and it's clear that he has a conflict of interest if you're going to be going after the next bridge people. I mean, he's not working on that part of the litigation, but it's enough that, it's the appearance. There may be nothing there per se, but, even judges where there's the appearance of some sort of impropriety, that's usually the standard for, having to recuse from a case or something like that. So I just, there's a lot with what's going on with Wes that I think, he's like, Scott is, he's getting a little too lost in the woods as to going after every little detail, when if he just, I think, narrowed himself to the strongest facts, which is the Parabellum situation and his clear conflict of interest that he's supposedly working for the Metamaterials estate while working for the next bridge thing, when Metamaterials is possibly going to be going after next bridge executives for their impropriety and all the stuff going on with that. It just seems suspicious. That just from where I'm setting. Speaking of which, though, we've got Stephanie. Most people, I don't think, on here are too super familiar with her. She's more of an AMC person. I think the only time she's been on this show was because number one cuck John Archernet was going after her. Apparently she's going to be on the Rob Carter show talking about MMTLP, which I think is interesting because I don't think she even knows the fucking first thing about MMTLP. I mean, she's extensively an AMC baggie. So I don't know. I mean, her, and also her understanding of just things in general does not seem like it's all there. This was pointed out by Ocelot, and if we were doing stupid tweet of the week, this would be it. So can you ask her why she blocks people that point out her inaccuracies? She's one of the biggest liars on FinTwit. Tigger Twit is a liar because I'm not on FinTwit. Okay, she's confusing FinTwit with StockTwits. Anyone who talks finance on X, formerly Twitter, is part of the FinTwit community, financial Twitter. So yes, you are on FinTwit. You are on X talking about finance. That is the FinTwit community. Speaking of which, we're gonna move on to AMC. I know last week we talked about Ethan continuing his pursuit of harassing people at the Department of Insurance here in Kansas. I don't think there was any really material update other than he sent more documents, but like I can't wait for this Quora request to just kind of blow up in his face and he gets nothing. Because we know this was going to happen, because like what he wants a state regulator to look into a security that's traded nationally and internationally, which would be a federal SEC thing, which they pointed out to him before. There would have to be some sort of like state level thing for them to have a nexus around. Like this is something, go talk to the SEC. They've told him this multiple times and he still hasn't fucking figured it out. Oh my God. So we have the meeting of the minds of the biggest fucking grifters on X right now in the meme stock community, who both had meme coins about themselves, and their fan bases have gotten rugged both times. I think to a certain extent, Keith Gill also got rugged because he didn't start the crypto coin. Some scammers did, and then tried to get him to promote it so they could rug them. So this is just, oh my goodness. Worth watching in full? I don't know. That's a lot. You're asking for a lot there, but you know what? I do have the episode in full that's not on YouTube, so we don't have to give this fucker a review. Let's see how boring this can be, because like generally I'm not a fan of watching PP Seeds episodes because they're so tiresome. I just can't be bothered. And they spend a lot of time talking about absolutely fucking nothing. But let's give it a rip. I'm not going to spend the full. How long is he on here? Oh wow, he's on for like almost a whole hour. Yeah, we're not going to be doing that. But we'll look into this.
I didn't know if I was going to get hounded. I didn't know I was going to get bombarded. I wasn't know if I was going to get embraced. And that's like, I don't know if I was going to get cornered with questions. So I kind of, I knew I was aware of the PP show.
Okay. Okay. Right on. Yeah. Now we're big fans of you, man. Here we're actually, OG Bed Bath investors. We invested in the stock alongside, just like you did. And we believe that there's something a lot bigger here, right? We've been kind of.
Wait, Keith invested in Bed Bath? Wow. Oof. I know he was been talking up AMC, but I didn't realize that. Oof. Big oof.
Discussing this thing for years now. And, I don't know, I did have a question, obviously any questions I ask you or anybody here at the panel, if they ask you anything, don't feel like you're obligated to answer anything, of course, but did you hold any shares into cancellation when all this stuff was going on with bankruptcy and all this stuff, or did you bail right before then?
With BBBY?
Yeah.
Yes, I thought I was going to be set for life, and it turned out Ryko and cater to the billionaires, the rich guys, and I ended up making some money, but not nearly the amount that I thought it was going to make. I thought it was going to make at least three to 4 mil, and I made about off my 50K, 60K investment, I made about 450, which was great. But I made so much more.
Well,
Consider my
he's doing a lot better than the people in this room. I'm gonna switch 1 second here. You can see them get so sad when Keith's regarded brother says Ryan Cohen ditched BBY, and then have to sit there and just kind of nod their heads when Kevin says, "And I made money," because none of them have. Not a single fucking one of them made money. That's gotta be just like, oof, oof.
my strike price, I believe back then was $10 or something around there, and it got up to 28. I think the highest was almost $30.
Yeah. That was August of 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that time period, and I trimmed it. I told my brother, I said, "I'm trimming this because I don't believe this is going to keep going." So I trimmed some of it at its peak. So I'm so grateful I trimmed some of it. Then the next day, boom, he sells. Ryan Cohen sells all his shares.
Yes.
And then I get a phone call from my brother. And I had options, so I couldn't sell my shares. When you have options contracts, you can't sell during market hours.
Right.
So I could.
What? When you have options contract? Oh, well, yeah, you can sell your shares, but you can't sell the options contract. So yeah, you're totally stone cold fucked on those. He just said Ryan Cohen catered to rich people only. That goes against all their beliefs. I know, right? This is see, that's one thing about about Kevin. He may be in a bit of a way and might need a therapist and some help. But he is not going to just, play these baggy games. He's going to say exactly what he thinks.
Couldn't do anything until 9:30 the next morning and just sell everything because he was out. He was the main player that everybody was following. And my brother, for the first time in his life, I think, apologized to me profusely, saying, "I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry." He tried, and he didn't need to help me. It wasn't his fault. I just wish they were in more of a communication, kind of thing. I guess they weren't communicating.
Right.
Because, if they were communicating, keeping in touch.
Okay. Sure. Cool. I know there's a lot of I know that there are some people on the baggy verse, but there are some people in the meltdown verse that think that there was a bit of a coordinated effort between Keith and Ryan Cohen, and I don't really particularly subscribe to that because that's so many levels of dumb. And why, if that was true, why would, here's the thing. Here's how my argument would go. If there was some sort of thing between, Keith and Cohen, why would Ryan Cohen basically rug him on his great comeback and basically use his run up to basically get more equity into the company at his expense and at a lot of investors' expense, because Keith had a lot of options. A lot of people would clap back and say, well, that was kind of the point. Keith was in there to bring up hype so that Ryan Cohen could, then reap the benefits. And I'm not big on conspiracies. This is the entire reason this channel exists and the reason that I do this show. I just the idea that they're especially when there's no evidence. And some people would say, well, Kevin is the evidence. He's admitting that there was some, that Keith Gill and Ryan Cohen were conspiring. And I'm just if you want to believe the unreliable narrator that is the alcoholic who has had wellness 3 wellness checks and has been carried off twice to be sectioned for a brief period of time with the narrative that Ryan Cohen and his brother Keith Gill were colluding together in the stock market. I have some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you. Kevin in the video says Keith made 300 mil. How would that be possible without dumping GME? Yeah. That's the other big thing here is it's so obvious that Keith sold, but that that goes against all the narratives that you know, he's still in watching over us to this day.
I wouldn't I wouldn't go to the lengths to go to try to make money the way I am now. You know, things cost, you know, I'm selling my house. I sold my car. I am going through transitioning where I'm trying to move to somewhere with less taxes, less government interference. I'm moving out of this Massachusetts horrible state. I think this is
come to Texas, buddy.
That's one of the spots on my radar. The only problem is I like the seasons, and Texas is too hot for me.
Let me tell you this, okay? We got really fucking hot summers, but we still get like ice in winters and all that shit. It still gets cold here. You know, some people say when they hear Texas, they think of like for some reason, a fucking cactus, like a desert.
Okay,
No, I've done like closer to like Oklahoma a little bit. Like what is it?
Oklahoma's a horrible state.
Yeah, you can go to the casino.
I share a border with Oklahoma. You do not want to live in Oklahoma, trust me, bro.
You can go to Arkansas. I mean, you know,
Arkansas is pretty nice.
It takes longer anywhere you travel. Most of your time you're driving out of Texas. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you come down, people will take care of you, buddy.
Yeah, and you guys are big protectors of the Second Amendment, right?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, we fucking love that.
I don't want this political shit. Can we
Gil's
get
a
back to
smart guy.
shenanigans?
All right.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna find this real quick. You got to see this, okay? I gotta.
Oh boy, here we go.
Wait, someone's trying to show me
This should be
something.
fun.
Hey Kevin, I was just up in New Hampshire last weekend. A cousin of mine who went to Stonehill got married, and
yeah,
New Hampshire's a nice place, but I understand you want to go leave.
Yeah. I don't know if you're. I went on a rant.
God, can we?
Well, I thought you were worth like 30 mil with the taxes and all the money you had to give away to family members. I thought you were worth like at least 20 or something like that. So like I didn't want to take more like than I needed. I didn't want to scrub off him. So like had I known he was going to do, I would have picked him up by his ankles and shook the chains out of his pockets. You know, but it didn't come to that. I was respectful. He left. You know, we kind of worked it out, not really.
Sure.
You know, because we're both stubborn type people, headstrong type people, and yeah. And then he ended up making all that shitload of money, and then he made the news, and anytime I said, dude, all you need to do is fucking tweet a black square, and people will interpret that 20 million different ways.
BB getting called out for his shenanigans live on air. All you have to do is like just tweet out a black square and they'll interpret it however the fuck they want to. Like, if it wasn't clear that Kevin is a massive fucking grifter and realizes that, bro, literally, bro, you could just hustle these people for all their fucking money and they would still love you for it.
What does this mean? Does this mean end of time? Does this mean fade to black? What does this mean? A black square? Is this? Huh?
Kevin, really quick.
He can post that. He can post a period and be like, "Is he talking about his wife?" On a
hey, how you doing, Hannah? Oh no, oh.
You're either wolf or sheep, you know. And
2023 DK Butterflies.
I have to go figure out where I was because I did a big goofy because I was busy fumbling around. Luckily, I can just go back to my live stream and see where I was before I goofed. Oh no. So it was 1 hour 53 minutes. So just a little bit off. So like right about right here.
They control you. It's all about control. Everything is control. I want to be left alone and just enjoy my life, enjoy my freedom, and I will be friendly with my neighbors. You know, and I got right now I got a real shitty neighbor. I can't wait to get away from him.
Yeah, that's the funniest part of this whole thing. I'm so glad I took Rubbing My Axe's advice to just sit down and just on the rando, because I was just going to be like, this was a thing that happened. Both these guys are grifters. Anyway, next thing, but I can see why Hannah does watch this a lot more than I do, because sometimes perfect gems in the rough.
I can't wait to get out of this state.
Yeah,
and I'm ready for a new life, a clean slate, and start a new life, and maybe everything will work out somewhere else. You know,
right?
Because, things are working out for me right now, but I think they can be working out 10 times better if I'm in a different place where I'm happy where I am.
So I know you mentioned that you had trimmed some of your Bed Bath, right? You know, obviously a lot of the stuff Cohen had sold. So when you say trimmed, you know, you took some profits, obviously. Did you continue to still hold the stock into bankruptcy?
Please say no.
You don't have any Bed Bath right now.
No, I said fuck it.
Of course he doesn't. He's not a fucking idiot loser like you guys are. This is brilliant. The look like I am going to make a short and just clip there on PP's face. He looks like he is just so yeah, well, that's technically true, but again, that's their entire that's their entire narrative. Dude, bro, in the lower left here, Wally has also just got this like fucking the shining death glare. No. It's not critical hit, Hannah. This, if I had to pull something from my LARP days, that was a death strike. Just dead.
I'm done. I said if I make anything, it's not gonna get me rock hard. It's not gonna get me excited. So I said he's the main component behind the stock. My brother said yes, and my brother was pissed at him. And that meme where he's dropping the Woody is a lot of people like don't know what that means. I think
with the dog, with Chewie?
Yeah, with the dog.
Uh-huh.
It means that I interpreted that to mean that he's not playing around with him anymore, and he unfollowed him, right?
That's what people were.
Yeah, because like the whole the whole thing with that, it's like, yeah, I'm not like dude was basically trying to pump the stock so he could make money. Like this is the story as old as time with some of these meme stocks, is like the grifters occupying it eventually start grifting off of each other. And that's basically like the whole Woody thing was him. I don't want to play with you anymore because, you know, Ryan Cohen double-crossed him. He thought he was going to make so much money off his options. He was going to clean house and he was going to walk away into the sunset having, again, rugged baggies for all the money. And Ryan Cohen beat him to the punch, and he felt like he got double-crossed. It was a real Brett screwed Brett moment.
Saying, I don't know if I ever verified that. I don't. He was following him, right?
It'd be great if their relationship can be repaired. My brother's a stubborn motherfucker. If there was a movie, you know, I heard they're making a sequel to his movie. It's called The Grudge 2 because he can hold a grudge.
Really? No shit.
Long.
Oh shit. I think someone's maybe calling BP right now. Maybe that's why he blacked out. Yo, you still there?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, your camera went away.
I just wish he would let things go a little bit, and they would team up again because they're better as a team than enemies. Because together, I think anything is possible.
You mean like Cohen and Keith?
Stupid narrative.
Yeah, or me and Keith. You know, maybe not the level of him and Ryan Cohen, but me and Keith can team up and start building up AMC. Because he always said AMC is a sleeper stock. People are sleeping on.
No, like, don't get me wrong. The news about AMC has been good as of recent. Their financials are improving. The grade that Moody's gave to their corporate bonds is now, I think, investment grade because it's like what BBB, not BBBY, BBB plus, so or minus. So I mean, I think AMC's back to having investment grade bonds again, corporate bonds. But like the idea that Keith, like, you could go to his channel, you can see some of these companies, and don't get me wrong, you know, he's into these sort of like deep value plays where the financials are a little shaky, but you know, there's a core business there that's good. And I mean, you could make the argument now that maybe AMC is finally that, but like the idea that prior to even recently that someone would be invested in AMC, where functionally the thing keeping the lights on is the company going to the well of extracting capital from investors again and again and again and again and again and then do some reverse split shenanigans that was really super like skeezy, but like had to be done to keep the company from going bankrupt. Like the idea that Keith Gill would be invested or think that that was a good investment is special. Special on so many levels. There's no way that happened. Absolutely no way.
Who, your brother said that?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen you talking a lot about that. I actually have. I bought some more
Citation needed.
as a result of that because it really seems very interesting.
Yeah, he said AMC is one of the meme stocks. It's one of the stocks that people denounce, and COVID tried to kill it. And
Yep,
people
Well,
want
it's part of the
movies back.
basket.
Yeah.
People want to see movies back there. I know
go ahead.
I do, and I've been seeing some movies. Like,
Any
there's-
good movies lately?
I saw Michael. I like that one. I saw The Odyssey. What was the other one I saw? Natalie, where'd you go? I know we watched.
Kevin, your screen went black there. Is your screen all good? We can't see you.
Let me try to fix it. Hold on. I'm using my.
No, he can't. Hold on.
Wait, someone's trying to
see.
show me something.
Hey, Kevin, I was just up in New Hampshire last weekend. A cousin of mine who went to Stonehill got married.
Okay,
And,
this is back close
yeah.
to where we were. Okay, yeah.
30, 40 million, whatever he's worth, like 400 million or whatever he made.
Almost
now
a
we're
billion.
back to where we were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost. With the BBBY, he would have been a billion. Had it worked out the way we thought, with the way he thought it was going to work out, and the way he believed in Ryan Cohen. I mean, he was like, this guy's the man. He's like, Ryan Cohen's the man. This is the guy. This is the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then ever since then, I know people
So
worship
glad
him.
this is on
I've always had a little
1.5
chip on my
speed
shoulder
because
because
I
I'm like,
imagine they're
man,
talking so
everyone else, like I wasn't part of the GME come up.
Okay.
I joined it after, and I tried to get involved after, and it was like up and down. I was making like $100, $200. I was like, what the fuck's going on? People made, and my brother made millions, my aunt made millions, you know,
he made as much
and
long
I was in the dark
as I
during
made
that time.
shorting it.
So
Amazing.
when that BBY came around, I was like, this is my opportunity. This is where.
Looks like we're
No, whoops. I need to stop
about
messing
then.
around.
Did he potentially hold shares into cancellation, to your knowledge?
Man, he doesn't give his opinion on what color is the sky. Is it blue
Really?
or is it red? I don't.
DFV getting rugged on Bed Bath and Beyond kind of subtracts a lot from this. Yes, it does. Which is like, color me. I don't think that happened. And personally, to me, I feel like there are almost like two Keith Gills. There is the Keith Gill prior to the event that made him fabulously fucking wealthy, and the Keith Gill after. Keith Gill after is a lot closer, at least from what I've seen and what possibly has been described, a lot closer to his brother. He's a bit. Money does things to some people who just can't handle the responsibility. With great power and great money comes great responsibility. But him before was a very acute investor. There's a lot of like I think probably the best video that I've seen, and I've sort of co-opted though. I don't have as much of a level as he does because he had a lot more. And I'm just a retail dude who has an average 9-to-5 job. I can't keep up with every little minutia. But his like whole how he organized his own personal screener using like Google Sheets. I use Excel. That influenced me. Like seeing this guy talk about finance, he obviously knows his stuff. I cannot see him having invested in Bed Bath and Beyond, let alone just getting completely rugged in it. Yes, he is into these deep value companies, but I don't see where the value would be. Like, and you could even go because he had the spreadsheet of all the companies he was invested in. And I don't remember ever seeing Bed Bath there. I think that's a little bit of pandering. If you know, Kevin is saying to PP that, Keith got rugged in Bed Bath. It sounds like Kevin got rugged in Bed Bath to a certain extent, but I'm highly skeptical of the idea that, much like the idea that he was, secretly in cahoots with Ryan Cohen, I'm very skeptical of the idea that Keith had anything to do with Bed Bath at all.
don't have an opinion.
Okay.
He is so afraid to give an opinion because he thinks everybody's going to rat him out and just talk about it and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I'm like, bro, at one point I called him out. I was like, bro, do you have an opinion on anything? Because he got to a point, he's so paranoid of everybody. He thinks everybody's trying to use him.
Sure.
And
Because
use him
they
to,
are.
to enrich themselves.
Right.
And
I mean, to be fair, at the end, he started using other people. Clearly, that was what the comeback was about. But I could definitely see that he was like, that's the reason why he was gone for so long. That like everything he said, or imagine that you do something that causes a cult to basically form around you, and you're just a normal person. You're a normal person with a 9-to-5 job. You have been having a normal life. It's not like you're some, charismatic, person who, has egotism problems, who develops a cult for your own personal aggrandizement. You literally just do your 9-to-5 job and, kind of give opinions on, the stuff related to your 9-to-5 job. And suddenly a movement forms around you. Like, that has to be kind of a moment that is overwhelming as to how you should handle the situation, because even his brother Kevin admits it. Like, the dude could tweet literally fucking anything and they would spend days interpreting what it fucking means. Like, this you can see how it would drive a person insane and make them paranoid that every little word that leaves their mouth will be misinterpreted and recalibrated into something it never fucking was. Like, and they just kind of like are missing it. All of them, including his brother.
And I understand that to an extent, but there are some good, genuine people that that are not trying to do that and just want to talk to him I encourage him to get back out there and embrace who he is. But I think he's living that family life, raising his kids, and I think
there's nothing wrong about that.
There's nothing wrong with that. He's entitled to that.
Yeah.
If I had kids, I would still do it because I can't abandon people that have showed so much support. I got people in my corner. I got Haas. I don't know if you're familiar with this brand, Haas. This is a great brand. I got loyalists.
We're very familiar.
And I told people if I ever come up the way like 25% of what he did, I'm pulling people up with me. That's the way I am.
Those Randy Savage.
But he
cheers,
he put himself on an island almost and isolated himself too much. I always joke that he's in a bunker. He's not in a bunker.
I have a question here. I have a legitimate question here. Was it PP who put the PP Club thing down here, or was it Kevin? Because if it was Kevin, that's a laugh. If it's PP who put it down there, it's a laugh for a very different reason and a much louder one. Just imagine the desperation of that. Though I get the feeling it's probably Kevin who put it down there. That's just kind of sad.
But I always joke he's in a bunker. There's no service down there. But no, I mean nobody. No, he's like Bigfoot. No one's ever seen him. There's no clear picture of him. But he's just playing it safe. And he's just. I'm like, what's going on? I even talked to my parents. What's going on? And just give it time. I'm like, time is fucking going by. Time is going by. We mean, like we there's enough time has passed. Come on.
Maybe he's tuning in tonight.
I think he's.
No. Fucking no.
To watch my stuff because
definitely
some of the stuff he's been doing, like visiting my parents. After, like I was on a roll. I was putting out little movie review clips, and he knows I love movies.
Love those, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Those are way more polished than when I'm up all night streaming. I know that. But yeah, I know he's seen some of them, especially the Dumb Money one. I know he's seen that. I know he's seen some of them. So I've always praised him, and that's what the movie got wrong. They got me saying that they got me like, oh, he posted a spreadsheet, and I go like this in the movie. I'm like this. I was like this, like hell yeah. I was championing him. I was like,
hell yeah.
He's pulling his family out of the gutter. I mean, when we were in the gutter, but we were like working class, middle class family,
right,
in a tough city, and thank you, Alexa. I was literally crying tears of joy. I sent him a video of it.
This is a reminder.
Alexa, I heard you. I was Alexa, please shut up. I was literally crying tears of joy when he not only did he make all that money, but he's the hero of the story. I was in tears of joy celebrating it, and I sent him the video of me crying.
That's the problem sometimes with movie embellishments. Is like there has to be for some reason a hero. I don't think there's really a hero of the meme stock story. I like. Did Keith Gill succeed? Did he succeed beyond his wildest dreams? Yes, but it's much more nuanced than that. And I think at least at the first part of it, Keith realized that he kind of built a movement that never like I said, you just all of a sudden you're now the leader of a cult that you didn't want to be the leader of, or even have a cult. Like the whole meme stock experience, like to say that there's some sort of hero of it all. Definitely think there's some people, depending on which meme stock, that are definitely victims, but like a hero. I don't think like this sort of story is just like it's sort of like a thing that happened, like one of those like black swan events. Like say that there's like some hero implies that there's some narrative lesson to be learned or something, and I don't buy into that sort of framing of the situation. I just don't.
I was like, bro. And then he was confused. He was like, why is he sending me that? Blah, blah, blah. He didn't know. I was like, bro, he's just so proud of you, you know? And that's where the movie fucked up. They thought I was against him. And why would I be against him?
Oh, I haven't watched the movie, so I have no way to say anything about that.
Wealth.
Yeah, these guys didn't have like the true, if I had a chance to actually have the money to direct a proper story, I would tell the real story. You know?
Oh my God, I
bro.
love
Don't you have that fucking documentary of yours to like tell the real story, but it keeps getting delayed because the people behind it realize you and your Bed Bath & Beyond baggies are not interesting. You're just life's biggest losers. And that's why they keep trying to shift the narrative over to GameStop. But since the people that have spent a lot of the funding money into it are Bed Bath & Beyond baggies, that no one wants to change that narrative. And so the, movie keeps getting delayed into perpetuity because both sides are just at a loss as to what the narrative of the actual story should be. You had a chance to tell the story like you thought it should be told. And the big result of the bear trap is nothing. Absolutely nothing.
so much. I wish I was on the set. I have so many stories that could paint him in a good light, and show him that he's actually way more confident in how he was portrayed. He used to like run track races.
Yeah, I heard about
the
that.
race. He goes, and I have a video on my Facebook. I used to do videos before he used to do videos. I was always a video head, and I said, and it was an interview. I go like, so who's gonna win the race? He goes, I already won the race. I'm the champion. Before the race even starts, and it was a competitive. He goes, I already won. He goes, but you didn't run the race yet. He goes, it doesn't matter. I already won the race.
See, people need to pay attention to that. Yeah, pay attention. He won. He didn't even run yet.
Yeah, and then he goes, what if you fall? He goes, I won't. He's like, and then he's like, oh, I saw the race. Like, oh, I don't fall. And he's always been confident in himself. And when he's set on something, he's got a very determined mindset. He's like, whatever it takes. He's got a killer instinct inside him. And he's a nerd, but he was very good. He was a very good athlete. So he's like the perfect combination of what it takes to be successful in life. Because he's competitive as a motherfucker, and he's a wizard. His name was Mr. Wizard. Playing cards. My name was Dr. Wizard. His name was Mr. Wizard.
What cards?
So, yeah, we used to play a card game called Wizard.
Oh, okay.
We used to go to Canada and Toronto.
What?
In Connecticut and play tournaments and stuff like that. And yeah, he was great at cards. He's always been.
Kevin's a lot more positive about his brother when he's not drunk. Yeah. I tend to be a heavy drunk. I've seen Kevin in a couple of his videos, and he's definitely, I don't know if angry drunk is the right word, but he's definitely a personality when inebriated. Let's put it like that.
I've always admired him. I've always looked up to him. Everything he's ever done, I followed suit.
Maybe he's
he
a
played
sad drunk, just like an
the
angry
clarinet.
sad.
I played the stupid clarinet. He ran track. I ran track. Everything he did, he went to Stonehill. I went to Stonehill. Everything he did, I seemed to follow. So everything he did, I followed.
Maybe that's where some of the drunk stuff comes out. That repressed anger of always being in your brother's shadow. Yeah, I feel it. I feel it from those words. He's nice now, but just wait.
Followed him. As a younger brother, I was a freshman. He was a senior,
Oh,
so he drove me to
younger
school.
brother.
I was a
Bingo.
freshman. I was like, hell
Called
yeah,
it.
my senior brother, my senior, my brother that's a senior is driving me to school. You know, this is awesome. You know, then he went to college and it got real dull for a couple of years when I wasn't with him. But then we teamed up again when I was a freshman at Stonehill and he was a senior at Stonehill, and we were like, he would always race me in practice. I'm like, bro, this is an easy run. Why are you staying one step ahead of me? Why are you? It's an easy run. We're taking it easy today. He's ultra competitive.
I can tell that they are so
and
bored with this
there were times when I
conversation,
would
but
beat him
it
in
is so
practice,
eye-opening for me. I
and
appreciate
it
Kevin
killed
giving us
inside,
this context.
you know, because he always wanted. He even said, he goes, my brother's gonna beat all my records, blah blah blah. He's a beast, you know. But he's always supported me. So the fact that people are trying to say he's this account and he's shitting on BP, shitting on EMC, I'm like, that's not my brother. My
Yeah,
brother,
so many LARPers, man, try to act like your brother, you know.
yeah, anybody that's shitting on me, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't post that. Yeah, he wouldn't post that. So I'm saying, like, this isn't him. This isn't him. This is too demonic. This isn't like him. He's always rooted for me.
Yeah.
He's been my biggest supporter, and he's like, bro, you're like, I remember some races, like, dude, you're a beast, man. And,
What's going on over
always
there,
supporting me.
Wally? Glitching out
It's
like
just
heck.
that just as you get older and you have your families and stuff like that, you naturally grow apart and whatever.
No, but it sounds like y'all have a lot of love for each other as brothers, you know.
Oh yeah, I'll always have love for him, no matter what, no matter how mad at him. If something happens to him, I got his back. If somebody comes at him with a smear campaign, I will do everything I can to try to protect him, or say something to try to help his reputation, because he deserves every penny he earned.
Yeah,
he deserves it. He got a
You
fair
know,
share.
like I think it's much more mild, because like obviously the resentful part of Kevin comes out when he's drunk, but it seems like when he's sober, Kevin at least tries to have some sort of relationship with his brother. I think that's a lot more different than the Morant situation, but there's definitely that sort of vibe. Like Morant's, obviously his whole life is kind of warped by being in his brother's shadow, to the point where he has almost a narcissism that's built around his own anxieties and his own feelings of inferiority. Whereas Kevin is just, there's a reason why he has a golden retriever, because that's how I would, that's how I would describe Kevin. He's just, you can't really hate him, but he's just, there's not a lot going on up there. There just really isn't.
What did he say? I like the stock. Oh my
That's
god,
it.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone doubted him. Everyone doubted him, and he turned out to be right. So I mean, yeah, I totally agree. He deserves it.
Yeah. So like when people say like, we're so on the ups with each other, I support him no matter what, even if we don't know. I'm trying to think of some other stories to tell you.
Let me read some of these tips here while you think there, Kevin. It says, Beyond Regarded with the 499 says, petition to make Kevin Gill a permanent co-host. We'd love to have Kevin as a co-host here at the PP Show.
Oh,
man.
shit.
We got Jim Zimmer with the 999. Don't.
If they do make him a permanent co-host, and you know, maybe some of the gloss of it will wear off after multiple episodes, but I'm not gonna lie, I would watch more PP episodes if Kevin was there and we get some golden moments like we've gotten. So this has been great.
Underestimate Kevin Gill. Kevin himself said that Kevin would break all of his records. We also got Jim Zimmer out there with the 499. You guys remember when Keith used the PP Show song in his meme? Well, now his brother's on the show. Pay attention. Right on.
Okay, so someone has to come up with the lore here. I'm not really up on the PP Seeds lore. What's this using Keith using the PP Show song in his what? I'm skeptical of this, but I don't know for one, and someone watching, if you could please give me the, I have no clue what that's even about. Whoops. I feel like he would cut of the tips if he has. Yes, he would. Yeah, that's not that would not work out if that was the case. But yeah, I would tend to agree.
Love that you're on the show, man. Like, this is crazy.
Hey, you guys get money from this show, or do you
It's
do it
a
for fun?
That is comedic timing. Rubbing my axe with that comment, and then immediately hit play. And Keith is like, "Hey, you get money from this show? You're killing me." In one of the video memes, came back, he played a song from the same artist. Oh, that's not even anywhere near this. Like, it's one thing if it was the same song or whatever. It's just the same artist. Like, okay, like who fucking cares? That is such a reach.
Primarily, it's like people donate. You know, if people want to donate to the show to support it, you know, I mean, those are super chats that people are donating. We hang out, we talk DD.
What kind of camera do you guys use? Because this won't cut it. I know my camera phone won't cut it.
I mean, personally, myself,
is it a Canon?
I use
no, mine is definitely not a Canon. It's called Nexigo. It's probably worth like 40 bucks or something.
I use a cell phone. I just know not to put it in freaking portrait mode. I put it in landscape mode because I'm not a total tool. That's my webcam. It's an old cell phone. You can do 720p just fine.
Man, but it probably looks good. You know, I'm on my PC. I got a Shure mic though, like you though. The Shure mic they're fantastic.
Yeah, I love them. I love the mics.
The Shure
only
mics
problem
are
is
really
I can't hear anybody. It's only for the when I'm giving a monologue that I can use them for. So I can't hear anybody. I have to unplug that and put my charger back in. And the streaming has destroyed my battery on my phone. So I would love to. We'll see how it goes. I would love to be a frequent guest on here.
Hell yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, you guys are good. I can tell you guys are good, positive people. You know, and I was unsure about joining anyone's podcast. I didn't know if I was going to get cornered, ask too many questions about stocks and, you know, stuff I'm not completely sure of. And I'm like, you know, yeah, but I'm a big believer in AMC making a comeback, and I'm promoting a coin. Most people call it a shit coin, but I got so many people rooting for me. It's unbelievable.
We have a
rooting for you. They literally hustled you and your followers. What are you talking about?
We have a meme coin here at the PP show too. Official PP coin.
Official PP coin. Okay, yeah. I'll write that down.
Yeah.
Where's my pen?
I like how it says PP Club right under your name. Right on.
Just give PP a follow on X. He'll shoot you links to join the show, make it easy. And if you check the bottom left of the screen, there's a little chat bubble down there. If you need to go.
This is like the worst budget version of, remember that cross promotion between Andrew Tate and Pulte, where they were both doing a cross promotion where it's like, if you subscribe to both me and Bill Pulte, I called him, but if you follow drawing and you could possibly win money, it was meant to promote both of them. But this is like the off-Broadway version of that, where they both shill their shitty meme coin.
Webcam, I just dropped a link for it.
Yeah, if you ever ask anyone to follow me, things like that, you know, I get it. If you end up following me, Kevin, I can send you whatever.
Some like crazy happening. I posted a picture of me with the Joker. I was in Chicago at the time. Joker was standing like 1 block away, right before a Bulls game, the Derrick Rose retirement, and I was with my girlfriend, and in the picture, so I'm holding a golden retriever mask, and it's viral like crazy. It hit 2 million views in 2 days, and I was like, "Shit! Look at this shit! This shit is out of control." And then all of a sudden, next week, I had 22,000 followers. It kept going up daily. Someone hacked my thing, and I went nuts. I couldn't believe I was the moment because I'm a big,
when you got hacked.
I swear to God, I got hacked. I didn't.
Yeah, I remember that.
I swear to God, I don't play with God. I swear to God, I was hacked, and I had so much momentum, and I had to start over again. I had 22,000 followers, and my followers were fucking going up like crazy. And they said, and then Twitter said they can't confirm it's me, even with the email and the ID and everything. I'm like, they need something. Just get it, because that was so important to me to get back my account. But I got up to 1,000 followers like kind of quick, and then it got to 14, and then it just stopped. And I'm just like, fuck. And it fucked up my momentum. And I'm a big believer in momentum. When you got momentum, you don't stop. You keep it rolling. You keep it going. Don't stop when you got momentum.
You know who would say that is Bill Pulte.
That is the most forced insertion of Bill Pulte ever. All right, I want to see the reaction to this, and we're gonna come because time on this walking abomination, and I still have some GameStop, which we'll do the final hour, but I want to kind of see the reaction to this first.
And momentum is your best friend.
He just
momentum. It drives you to new heights that you didn't know it was possible.
Right. So he just absolutely no sells it. Got it. Oh my goodness. Oh, I hope there's more to this in the future. Yes, more Kevin Gill with PP Seeds. It's the exact company he belongs with. Oh my goodness. Wow. Whew. I needed that. Actually, I need to get a refill on some. Going to let this play a little bit longer for your personal enjoyment while I grab that, and then we're gonna do GameStop stuff. I'm gonna give you a few extra moments.
Back off. Like, oh, no, keep it going. Be consistent. And it fucked up momentum. And I'm sorry to swear, but like,
No, we swear all the time, man.
Okay, all right. I didn't know like how if you keep PG or not. But, like,
no way.
Well, fuck shit,
This is the PP show.
Okay. But
Go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
No. I was just saying, it fucked up my momentum. I had to create a new page.
Yeah.
And then people were like, should I unfollow that page? I'm like, I didn't have an answer. I was like, I don't think I'm going to get that account. It was me. I sent them my ID, so I have to the real Barking Puppy 8, and then Barking Puppy, and I actually put me some BP 820 like number sequence, and
Okay.
I was like, okay, I guess I have to run with that. And when you throw numbers all over the place, because some puppy or whatever, I don't think anybody's a Barking. I was, but they do that to you. Right. They always try to throw numbers in it. You have to roll with it. So yeah, I had some crazy momentum, and I'm like, Natalie, I said, get rich. I was like, I got 1 million followers. I got 1 million views in 2 days.
That's Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
Cat dog. Yeah. What's up, Moon Knight?
Is that?
That's not Keith.
Have you guys?
We have a suspicion that maybe he was like this backstage character who. I mean, because again,
he does have decoy accounts.
Really?
Yeah.
Let that run a little longer.
Wait,
yeah, cool story, bro. Cool. So on the train towards GameStop, I'm gonna finish off the letter. I need to read the peanut butter flavored whiskey. It needs to be banned in the United States because it's too delicious. Anywho, so the next, so there's a new promo for the online casino now. The glorified slot machine that is power packs. The business model works. I guess I can't hate it too much. But now if you spend is it $100? Yeah, $100. So for special offer deal, first up, pull a gold 3 separate days before August 2nd and earn $10 off your next purchase. So spend $300, get $10 back. Actual casinos give better benefits than this. I've spent about that same amount of money, and casinos, as part of their rewards programs, would give me free hotel rooms. Like, given like there, I mean, you're just eating the cost of maintaining that one room, or you go to the buffet line, or you get certain, like, the actual casinos give better benefits than that. You're playing a glorified slot machine just to get fucked. I hate the commodification of gambling in such a way online that it's somehow worse odds and shittier than going to a real casino with less benefits. And like, people are so degenerate, they just get sucked into it. It's crazy. Anyway, so beginning of this week, we had, I stand by this clip being the CNBC person hosting, pulling the guy live on air because he said he thought the eBay deal was going through. But I'm going to let the clip play, and we're gonna go over this.
Getting little legs today, Jim.
eBay, saw it a lot on this GameStop offer because I think the fundamentals are intact. It may happen, but obviously it's been.
Well, they have a new offer now. I mean, this straight private equity. Wasn't that the new?
I haven't heard what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
Get a little remedial training here. Sorry to do that to
All
us,
right,
folks. Joe, what do you think?
Insight, biotech.
Yeah, see, I think they were just fucking with him because it's been a week. It's been a whole business that, and we haven't heard anything about an all equity offer, either from Ryan Cohen or from some other party. And I've suggested on the show that the only way the deal goes through if it's an all cash offer. And so like the whole idea, like it plays on the joke. I think that they were just screwing with him live on the air. And of course, everyone ran with that. Part of everyone running with that was Marantz and his crew, who literally, you can't make this shit up. Oh, I'm gonna full screen this so you can just like enjoy the whole thing here, being like, oh, now private equity is just so great, guys. Private equity is in the money. Holy shit, this is going to be amazing with Ryan Cohen changing capital markets. Suddenly, private equity is great. The guy who made an entire AI slop private equity is evil at all times. The guy who made an entire video series of poorly researched live streams about the evils of private equity, every company that has gone bankrupt. Suddenly, private equity is great because it supports his stupid fucking cult conspiracy narrative. Amazing. No morals, no scruples. At any point, he will change what he believes in because he believes in nothing. Nothing. That is Marantz. But it gets worse. It gets worse with our good old boys. If it had just stopped with him being, the normal idiot he is, that would, that's yet another day that ends in Y. But then we had the whole Rams and Pops vintage situation where they made this video about the Ryan, and quite frankly, it was nothing new. It was all of the same complaints that me, Platinum, Amy, anyone with any idea about how finance operates, it is these same complaints. They even let me see. We got a breakdown here. Good. They even point out I think are great for who probably, they understand eBay and eBay selling, but some of this other nuanced stuff, they probably had to research, and they did a good job with it. Like, I like how they went into live selling, because I don't understand the live selling thing from the, eBay seller perspective. I just understand it as a business model that I think maybe it does have potential, but I don't American consumers have accepted it as much as like those in Asia. I mean, if you want to expand your market and expand eBay out towards an international brand, that makes sense. But I like that context that they gave. I especially like the digitally said what I've said. How do you make this work? Because most of those platforms are closed in, where there's no way for you to get in third party unless you had your own platform. Again, this is just me going back to the make Steam but better. Make it so that people can sell their games between each other, and you scalp the exchange of reselling, digital games between people. It fits GameStop's model, and it's a new way to do things, but there's no way for them to basically do digital gaming assets unless that they were allowed in. And why would you allow in a third party when you could just take the profits yourself? So like they basically broke down every element of Ryan Cohen's business model, and basically went over it. And nothing wrong with that, because what they said is pretty much what has been said for the past couple months now. But of course, because they're a GameStop seller, and they are getting off message, unlike the other sellers that have interviewed Ryan Cohen. They got a little too off message, and they didn't have the authorization of Herr Fuhrer Cohen, basically giving marching orders on what was authorized and not authorized to talk about. Then the cult descended like a plague of locusts down on their comment section, and then started basically, and it didn't stop there, because Marantz made a couple shitty ass videos, and then of course his comment section was filled with people basically being a bunch and what happened from there, where it got even is Marantz basically did a video, which was one of those stupid apology videos where he's basically, I'm very sorry about absolutely fucking nothing, which led to even more comments on the Discord, where they basically even went after Justin resells for some reason that I determined, because I don't think Justin has said anything untoward about the whole GameStop deal, and was the first one to interview Ryan Cohen. So on that whole tour of, like I said, first of all, that whole tour, reason why GameStop was so open to it is because they knew people like Justin resells was never going to wherewithal to question him financial matters. They were going to look at it from a seller perspective, and that was always going to be more favorable to Ryan Cohen, because there's a lot of people on eBay that don't like current management for very valid reasons. And Cohen better than them, and a lot of people would say no, and the fit or would work in the business. That being said, the entire podcast trained to basically get a series of soft to build up to an actual real boy interview. That's why he was on. That's why he had Justin resell seller platforms. And then he got on Fox. I mean, not on Fox. Then he got on Bloomberg Technology on that one, and got absolutely steamrolled and obliterated, and looked like a unhinged lunatic asshole. And that's what has happened every time Ryan Cohen has done one of these interviews, where you kind of a real boy interviewer that asks questions, just basic questions about how I plan to get this to work. He melts down like it's ridiculous. And he is in every instance, he's looked absolutely childish. It's ridiculous on so many levels. But oh, let's get to the whole Marantz thing, shall we? Let's see how Marantz handles a message.
So there are times when I'm a YouTuber and stuff, when I'm wrong, you know that. So I want to say I'm sorry on behalf of myself, eBay crowd and resellers. I got a message, and then it was like, lighten up, man. These are our new buddies in arms, and all that talk. And guys, I'm sorry that my is and Brad that I have this much patience, information, and or
man. If you have this much patience, you must punch your bathroom mirror on a regular basis.
Content creators like yourself, Grams and Pops, right? Vintage. I just want to say I'm sorry that you guys are the most brain dead in America when it comes to content creality of what Ryan Cohen will do for eBay. Let's just get this very clear. Tough, because we're going to go to part 2 of this video, but because I got cut off yesterday, but then somehow, some way, I went down this black hole today. So then I'm like, holy, knew I was right. So about the plants, meet these two jokers. Now, before I even get involved with these two, let's go figure out who Corey and Teresa really are. And Teresa, these two. Teresa, hey, Fort Huachuca, give me a break, okay? And Corey, keep doing your thing. Keep writing your books. Keep your hit out, telling your story, a business in the Midwest. You know, unrealistic you guys are. This is your own blog, and you go in here and you say, the 10 best eBay resellers on YouTube. That's what you say, the 10 best. And I want, this is an actual blog of theirs. And as they go through the 10 best sellers on YouTube for resellers, and it says here, all channels listed here, sell on eBay, many blah, 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 blah. How it was ranked. Each channel was evaluated, let's see, using the same criteria. No favorites, no eBay, and the whole YouTube selling their product. They don't like this guy. They don't like this guy because he sells, you know, courses and stuff like that. But that's who Ryan interviewed with. Yeah, these guys were feeling left out. Profit resellers, same for resellers on YouTube and for eBay. And it's gross because eBay and list perfectly and locals homeland tour. Okay, so all of these guys are in part.
This is basically like his shitty ass connect the dots videos where he basically used Google search and concluded his search there. And notice that none of his arguments here are about the actual merits of the things they said. It's all ad hominems attacking them person rather than the arguments they made. Because again, we're talking about Marantz, a guy who was 1 grade point average away from basically having to get a GED instead of graduating with a diploma. This guy can't argue on the merits, the fact, or any sort of intelligent level because he does not have the mental capacity for it. That's just being honest. He is dumb as a pile of fucking rocks. So, obviously, when you don't have the mental capacity to sit at the adults table, as opposed to taking the crowns out and drawing across the walls, you have to resort to underhanded tactics. You have to result to ad hominems, changing subject, any sort of logical fallacy that you can get your hands around. Because actual intellectual debate is not something that Marantz has for.
Partnership. Yes, so you ran into a group of disgruntled eBay apologists, and what did he say? I don't think it'd be a good idea if Ryan takes
like what like if they're running like just like Justin Sells, if they're running some third-party thing for eBay, what do you mean it's disgruntled? They're in the same boat where providing the services to its customers or its resellers that they should be providing, so they have. So what do you mean by fucking disgruntled eBay apologists? Their entire business model exists because eBay can't do a job. Like the amount of lying and just straight up insults and borderline defamation that Marantz has to stoop to in order to make shit is amazingly preposterous.
Over the company. Of course you don't, because this is who you are. Don't worry. Oh, this girl, don't worry. She gave me a whole viewpoint of this. I had to go see this right here.
I think each speaker's giving away like 7 prizes.
Oh, yeah, the speakers are giving away 7 prizes. No, this guy wants something to do with it. Hey, Tony De Niro 2.0. We get it, Carl. You guys have little functions.
Wait, what was that fucking shot? I get it. Tony De Niro's analysis of GameStop makes you look like a clownish fucking moron. But like, this is just so fucking sad. And he just plays the clip as if the clip of him himself doing this is the argument. It's not an argument. It's just an ad hominem making fun of him with no punchline. Like, he is so incapable of actually creating an insult that he's just like, here's a clip, laugh. At what? That he is doing a professional, that he's doing a like a seminar about like how to be a reseller on eBay? Like, what is your fucking point?
Hey, Tony De Niro 2.0. We get it, Carl. You guys have little functions, little things. By the way, list perfectly. This is an app. I just want people to know what's going on here. Why these guys are upset. Because these guys have produced forms that are there to make it easier to use eBay. Right? And what?
So has Jill's. Like, what is your fucking point? Again, this just seems like you can't engage with their arguments intellectually because you're a fucking moron. So you have to make up some conspiracy that if Ryan Cohen comes in, he might suddenly change the business model that they have without any proof that that's the reason why they're actually concerned about the deal. Like, you're just incapable of engaging with any of the arguments substantively.
Would be eliminated? Would something like this be eliminated, like list easier, and they have fees involved and put 3,000 listings per month, 1,000 listings per month, so you guys have plugins for eBay's website and you're all pocketing because the inventors of these websites
is he just gonna keep on going like
if
this?
You don't know how to fix. By the way, the clothing vault, don't remember this, they used to post on eBay. They don't post anymore. It's completely empty. 16,000 items sold. 100% positive feedback, and their shop is empty. Do you know why? Because they're selling this app to people. That's what they're doing. They got out of the business of reselling. We know. Referral program sounds good. You know, when you look through the referral program, you're gonna see a lot of familiar faces in the resale world. Everybody I was looking at, but I had to go see everyone who's involved. That's what I did. I went and saw these videos, and this one looks great. eBay. What? Here it comes. Future employee parking. They want to be future employees of eBay.
What? I need to fucking find that clip. Where is this? What? Yeah, he's not correcting any dots. He's just on one of his stupid ass fucking. Oh, well, that's obviously on YouTube. So let's just do a YouTube search for it. That seems like the logical thing to do. Let me pull up YouTube real fast. I'll just search for that video. And this was 15, by the way. This is like what, 7 years ago? Works perfectly. And I see a lot of videos of this eBay open. Well, there's a list perfectly. Let me see if I can find the short that he's referencing. I didn't even realize shorts were a thing back in 2019. Oh, 2019. eBay open 2019 till now. Okay. So it's about the product they offer. The future employee is their business. Lance, I bet when I find this fucking thing, you're going to look real fucking stupid. Where is this? eBay open 2019. Let's just go to their website. Sorry, I'm busy doing the research that he clearly couldn't be fucking bothered to do. Under their referral program. Is this?
Sounds good. You know, when you look through the referral program, you're gonna see a lot of familiar faces in the resale world. Everybody I was looking at, but I had to go see.
Well, yeah, because it's a referral program for an eBay seller platform. What are you talking about?
That's what I did. I went and saw these videos, and this one looks great.
Oh, it's probably on here. Let me see if I can. I bet you percent it's future employee of their company, not eBay. But of course, this fucking idiot cannot grasp that at all. Because yeah, just listing has been open since 2015. About us. Is it on here? Nope. Just not finding this video at all. Let me see if I can just do a Google search for it. Okay, they were official sponsors of like the eBay Open 2019 and others. And the eBay Open is just like one of those like conventions, right, for eBay. Yeah. It's like a fucking convention for eBay. Jesus Christ. Okay, whatever. He's like trying to construe this out to something that it fucking isn't, but whatever. I guess when you have an IQ score below room temperature, this is what you do.
Here it comes. Future employee marketing. They want to be future employees of eBay.
No.
That's their whole thing.
No,
Guys,
this is like a
this
promo
whole-
video for an eBay conference. Like, what? Are you fucking actually, yeah, we know you're a fucking idiot. Don't answer that question. Christ.
Whole group of resellers invented an app, technology, everything that allows them to post on all platforms, list perfectly. So they don't just post on eBay, Poshmark, McCarthy,
Yeah, that like
Depop.
so that kind of like deconstructs your whole theory that they're defending eBay because it protects their business model. Clearly, they have a business model that's stable marketplaces. So where's your fucking argument after that? I would ask him to use his brain, but we know he doesn't do that and won't ever because, I mean, there's not much of it there.
Grailed, Versatile, whatever. I don't even know what this is. Vinted, whatnot, Shopify, Listing Party, Instagram, Etsy, Facebook. Okay, do you get the issue here?
No.
These guys are more about what they can get out of a platform than what the platform will actually do. They
I
don't-
mean, yeah, isn't that you? You're hoping that Ryan Cohen will take over, you know, eBay to salvage your shitty fucking stock position? I mean, I you know, being an open hypocrite, I guess, is whatever.
You're not going to have to go to 7 different web. You'll need it pretty soon because Ryan.
One donate, one sell one.
Look at this.
Loose ball cards, Barbies, or a video camera with an unknown tape in it.
Oh, that's real funny. Yeah, it's
Okay,
hilarious.
so now they're just making fun of her doing live streams with people, cool, whatever, and then going after other people that are related to them. Yeah, we get the picture. Morantz is still the giant piece of shit that we know he is. So skip past that to, what was it, 2 days ago, where Morantz has a moment.
But let's see the rest. Hi, guys. Just got a lot going on right now, and my day never stops.
Right.
Just going to make a small public service announcement to everyone out there that does not enjoy my content or that doesn't like me as a human or as a person. Please leave me alone. I don't need your
I don't need your harassment. Please leave me alone. I don't need your harassment. But pay no attention as I basically throw these two eBay sellers and their business model under the bus when they've done absolutely nothing to me. What a massive fucking coward. This is Morantz in a nutshell. He has got all the fucking jokes when he is laughing and punching down. He absolutely hates it though and starts bawling like a 2-year-old in a fucking Walmart parking lot the minute criticism is leveled at him. You motherfucker chose to be a public figure. All right? You were going to get criticism from people whether you like it or not. And you will man up and fucking deal with it. You'll shut the fuck up. And it's just amazing that he'll go down and dress down people, do long-ass videos about people who've never engaged with him, and proceed to harass them, have his fans try and dox them, go through their personal life like the kernels in someone in the fucking toilet bowl. But the minute he gets scrutiny, off fucking limits. Better not be doing that. Yeah. Pay no attention to the guy shoveling his backyard.
Me online like you guys do. I don't need you guys trying to dissect every word I say. If you're not a fan of the show, don't watch. Real simple. But leave me alone. I don't have burner accounts. I don't care to interact with you guys. You guys are taking all of my energy, all of my time.
That is a choice by you. That is a choice by you. Like, I know from umpteen thousand sources that when I'm not talking about you on my show, you still talk about me. And most of the time, I ignore it. You getting bent out of shape because someone is talking about you is a you choice. You choosing to let that person affect your life. That's a you choice. You can choose to ignore them. You can choose not to be bothered by them. When someone sends a message that says, hey, Hero is making a post that seems to indict the things you've been saying, you can say, I don't care about what fucking Tony De Niro says. I'm going to do me. Piece of shit. But again, it shows the level of narcissism that he has, that he can't stand other people around him talking shit about him. And it affects his mind so much because he is so aware and so insecure of his inabilities, his lack of skill and knowledge in these areas he pontificates about online, on social media, about finance in general. And he is more than willing to punch down at a bunch of eBay sellers who have done nothing to him when he gets to have the laughs. But when the tables are turned, he can't handle it.
You're taking my whole life away from me. Like, let me show you something. Hey, your burner account, Noisy Corex, we don't give a shit. I don't have.
Then why? I love when people do this on X. And I love that he's doing it right now. This whole, your account, I don't give a shit about it. But it's here plastered above my live screen. And I'm going to scroll your feed. I don't give a shit about it. If you don't give a shit, if you don't give a shit, then it doesn't even need a response. You don't give a shit. But the fact that you are here talking about it, trying to lampshade it by saying that you don't give a shit, communicates to everyone that fucking shit's to give.
A Twitter account. So when you say grifters like GameStop Echo are already changing their narratives, no one is. So and then you say my name, Jamie Morantz.
Yeah. I notice how he's also, again, not engaging with the argument. He just says that he's not changed his narrative. Like, you clearly said private equity in the money was a good thing. Spending years talking about how private equity.
It's not me. Okay, I'm not this account.
Yeah, we know. We know. The at tag, the person who took over the account that you said was, I at tagged it. That was part of the joke. Try to keep up.
But you're this account. You're this guy, and we know who you are, and we understand.
Yeah, I haven't hidden that is me. Like, I literally post links to this live stream on X, followers to follow. So like no one is on my account. The only reason I have to use this account is because Bill Pulte called up his best friend Christopher Stanley and got my original account suspended. Otherwise, I would use my normal account. But, you know, whatever. He's going to try to just twist this into something because he can't. Leave Britney alone!
You say things like that. Like, I'll show you something that you say that's just, I mean, it's like you can't go a day without saying anything about GameStop, the investors, the people. It's like,
I'm a stock market commentator. I talk about the stocks. It's what I do. So yeah, I'm going to have a lot to say about GameStop along with the other tickers I follow. Glad you kept up with that. You're just mad that what I say has been on point.
you're living on that edge to see everything wrong with everyone rather than
you do the same thing all the time. Like you being ass hurt that someone out there disagrees with you and can make an articulated response to your shitty fucking arguments.
and just understanding that we like the stock or that we're correct about this investment. And what are you going to say? The deal's going through. What are you going to say? Ryan Cohen's
the deal isn't going through. It hasn't gone through. Both eBay's board and eBay shareholders have basically given the cold shoulder. So what? Like spell it out. How does this deal work? Huh? How do you fix the problems? Because unlike you on this show, we've talked about the many ways that Ryan Cohen could change the deal to make it work. That he could address the issues that the GameStop board brought up. That he could make it an all-cash deal. So that way the board doesn't have to consider the whole issue of fiduciary duty and the fact that this deal sucks for eBay shareholders because they now own less of a company that they already own of to deal with Ryan Cohen and his, comically bought out bitches GameStop board being in control of everything instead of the board that they already elected. There lies between a certain amount of the eBay board is on and a certain amount of the GameStop board goes on, and balance that power. Ryan Cohen wants complete control. And oh, by the way, he wants to take some of your ownership and give it to his pals. That's the problem. Eliminated these problems that the game board was their reason for rejecting, they might actually take up on it because the price. I think $125 they'd all be all right with that buyout offer. Issue is everything else that goes into that deal. And you and your bumbling buffoon followers' inability to identify that problem because it ruins your stupid fucking narrative is exactly why you get laughed at. You are a talking head in a cult. You do not want to engage with honest arguments and honest answers because you are mentally incapable of engaging with them. So here we are again, doing the same game Marantz always does. It's just in the format of a pity party for Marantz.
What are you going to say? We're all going to have multi-million dollars in our account. And you're going to be what? Kicking your own ass? No.
What?
You're broke. You don't have a job.
I do have a job. I do have a life, and I'm not broke. I'm sorry that you're having massive projection issues and you need to project the problems in your own life of having been fired from your previous job, about admitting publicly that you have to take a second job. I fucking hate you, that you're in a shitty relationship, and you're hate you. I know that must suck. Projecting it onto me doesn't change that. Just so we make that clear.
This is your life. Okay? We know what your life is, to go online and do shit like this. Look at this.
Things on my own in my own free time. I do this once a week and post online when I feel like it. I have a job. I game with my friends. I do other things. I have a tabletop group that I participate in. I LARP once a month. Like, I have a perfectly functional social relationship and a perfectly functioning life. Again, this just feels a lot like projection, Marantz, that you have your own personal life problems and you need to just like project them onto others because you can't handle how shitty your real life is.
Liz acts like this is some win for Ryan Cohen, but really it's further proof that the merger won't go through. As proven before, nothing's stopping eBay from just simply implementing. But I suppose when you huff glue and are more interested in pandering to baggies, this is what happens. Like, what is...
I mean, what's wrong with that argument? It's absolutely true. eBay could implement every single one of Ryan Cohen's suggestions without him. That's the problem with him going at this from an activist angle and not focusing on fixing the problems with his own deal. If he fixed the problems with the deal, then he could just do the buyout. But he refuses to budge on anything. And that's why the deal won't go through. And eBay can simply take the suggestions they like and implement them. Like, that's the problem. You can't engage with the argument because it's just simple fucking facts. You have no way to weasel your way out of it. So you have a bunch of ad hominems and talk about how I'm just a big mean person on the internet. Oh,
What's that about? Pandering
it
to
is.
baggies. This is proof.
It is.
You know nothing.
Liz literally got it on a live stream with a convicted felon and a bunch of Bed Bath & Beyond baggies because it increased her profile and secured her position in getting a bunch of new followers to her stupid fucking Substack that she profits off of. This is absolutely about exploiting i.e. meme stock baggies to further her own ends and her own popularity. It's been proven time and time with how she constantly posts eBay with this like the blogger level fake like objectiveness where she'll just post a thing and very shrewdly wink and nudge about what you should totally believe while pretending to be objective. I'm just reporting about this lawsuit from a former employee. That I'm not suggesting that that means that eBay is evil. I mean, I totally am. But you know, I'm just reporting on it. Never mind that this lawsuit was unverified and by a pro se person who's completely abandoned their lawsuit, and now the court is asking them for a show cause order to actually show that they're still pursuing this lawsuit before they dismiss it for lack of prosecution. That is my problem with Liz. She is so transparently, cynically taking advantage of the meme stock community to grind her axe against eBay, profit from it for her own personal gain. But you come barging in here and just see the tags and the post and don't want any of that context because you haven't been paying attention and you're too fucking stupid to anyway, even if you did try.
You've been wrong about every investment your whole damn...
What? Citation needed. Like, that's just basically wrong on so many fronts. Every single investment in my whole life, that is such provably false nonsense because it's so absolute. I made thousands of dollars off of the spread between Ape and AMC, and that spread closing thousands of dollars. I have an investment account that tracks the S&P 500. It's called VOO. Like, what are you talking about? This is so laughably false and so desperately trying to throw something at me because, again, projection. You can't handle that your investment in GameStop has been shitty, so you've just got to throw all this like spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks.
Life, or else you'd be successful.
I mean, how do you know that I'm not successful? And my portfolio does just fine. I'm pretty sure it's greener than yours because you're all tits to the wall in GameStop that's been basically doing this for the past 4 years. like this is such desperation. He is so desperately grasping at straws. He knows he has nothing to attack me with, so he's just going to make shit up. Just make shit up because he knows his, fanboys are never going to question him on it.
He watches your shit, and all you do is attack people personally, left and right online. You're all
Again, projection. Again, projection. Like, we just got done doing an entire investigation in which we were the source, one of the sources that were used by the Houston Chronicle. Because on this show, we do actual due diligence, not this bullshit due diligence that, Marantz does. We actually look at companies. We look at their financial statements. We look at them objectively to the best of our ability. Everyone has their own biases. We had Josh Cohen on to say his own piece. We had the people who disagreed with him on. We went through his financials for his company. We went through the wells. We investigated it, and it turned out, much as we suspected, Josh Cohen was a fucking god. Where this level of this investigative journalism going on the Marantz channel, huh? No one watches me. People in real journalism sourcing me. And some of them you probably don't know about because they've been private sources on matters designed basically to protect my identity and the identity of the people who helped me compile that data. All right. What real news outlets are coming to you, Marantz? What real journalism have you been doing on your channel? It's so sad how hard he struggles to try and pretend like he's something he just fucking isn't and never will be.
Bunch of bullies, every single one of you guys. And it's not that you're bullies in the sense that you could hurt my feelings.
Again, projection. And obviously hurting your feelings, because here you are going off on this 5-minute rant about how ass hurt you are that people are saying mean things about you on the internet.
Do anything to me physically. All of you are keyboard warriors. Every single one of you guys.
Projection. Marantz, you're like the biggest keyboard warrior. Shut the fuck up.
You wouldn't say shit to me in life.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to drive the 2-day drive it is out to California to tell you stuff I say every day online. Sorry, I guess. I say it when I think you're wrong every time on the show. It's not like I'm hiding. And, thanks to some AMC baggies, it's not like you can't find where I am. So, when's your bitch ass getting off the couch, huh? You're such a tough boy, huh? Step back down.
This is what you do, Tony De Niro. Someone claims GameStop is trading 1-to-1 book value
Oh,
because
here we
assets
go.
equal market cap. They claim that the debt does not count because it's 0% interest, not due for 5 years. What do you call this? It's knowingly a false statement. No, Tony. Here you go, you dumb shit. All right, we go to financials. You know that thing? How about we go here to ratios? We can go to ratios. And in here, it's going to show you book value.
1.6, not 1, dipshit. Thanks for guess how fucking moronic you are. So, am I crazy, or in basic elementary school math, when you do rounding to the next whole number, you round to the nearest whole number, what is 0.68 nearer to 1 or 6 and 1 or 2? Marantz rounding down to 1 is an obvious lie, and Tony De Niro is perfectly within his rights to call that horse shit, because it is horse shit. And Marantz crying about it shows that he knows he's been fucking caught. Any person would look at 1.68, which, if you want to round, first of all, 1.7, the nearer whole number is 2. If you're going to round, you would round up. In which case, value is not 1. But 1.68 is not 1. That's just a fact of the number sitting there on your stupid fucking screen. Just owning himself by just doing what he does normally, being an idiot.
At 168. How is this a lie?
It
How
is.
this not a
It's,
one?
it's a lie because you
tell me.
reduced the
Oh,
number by
no, we're all
20
wrong.
by
We lie to the
68%.
world. That's what we do here. But this is what you guys do. And then you go make a song, and all you did was quote every word I speak.
I didn't make the song, Tony did, and that was the point, is that you say a bunch of copium nonsense that means nothing. That like the point of the song was to make fun of you being a giant copium grifter. You say you want to hear and create little false narratives and lies to paper over that kind of fucking sucks. And you're not using your brain when making that investment. And the fact that you're like all bent out of shape by it, like just why it happens. Lying and stop paying attention to it and stop talking about Tony and your defamation, borderline defamation, but absolute lie that somehow Tony has a thing for like real girls, trying to make him out to be some pedophile. Maybe Tony De Niro wouldn't make fun of you on the internet. Again, like he plays about, I don't do nothing to nobody. And then here he is trying to like say that Tony De Niro is a pedophile. And when Tony turns around and gives him a little pushback, like makes fun of all the ridiculous statements that he said online, suddenly it's, oh, poor Moretz, he can't handle the people making fun of him. I mean, he always said someone was a pedophile online or insinuated he was, but that's not as mean as this.
And say that you wrote the lyrics yourself. It's god awful, man. The people I got to deal with online every day. You guys are losers in life. Okay? Leave me the fuck alone.
No,
This account.
I like
says
this
on
is
it,
just proof why I won't leave you the fuck alone, because you're such an insecure, childish motherfucker. You're mad. You're mad because people keep calling you out on your lies. That's what you're mad about. And the fact that you're mad about just makes me want to point out your lies even more, because you're such a fucking child. You're a man child. A man child. You're a child in a man's body going through a midlife crisis. Imagine a 40-year-old 5-year-old. A 40-year-old with the mental capacity of a 5-year-old going through a midlife crisis. That's Morantz. That is Morantz. But it gets even funnier because, like, we're going to AI Slop Town in the same video. Oh, I got him muted.
How about that? I'm going to play a video, and I'm going to let you guys hear it. I'm not going to let you see it because it doesn't have anything to see. But I'm going to let you hear it, and then we'll go from there.
Show it anyway.
So let's see this. Let's hear it.
This is your host, Mr. Fix, coming to you from under the ice of the frozen moon of Ganymede, where the planets are big and the backlogs are bigger. Today on Fix Double X, we are here to talk about the intergalactic kaiju in the room. What is going on at Sony? Things are not looking good. Let's get into it. Roll intro.
I'm dead. This is just...
Generally, when private equity takes over a company, here is what they do. They overextend the company, take out massive loans, and they keep the money. They also make massive acquisitions like that.
That's enough of that. Oh my God. Morantz just skips over the part that he lied about book value. Yes, by definition, by saying that, you know, 4 billion in debt doesn't count. Like that, like, and that isn't even like a Morantz thing. I will give him that. Like, there is this massive thing about meme stock grifters and their refusal, absolute refusal, to recognize the liability side of the balance. Like, they'll count everything that's like an asset, and then they like there's this big black hole that just sucks up the liability side of the balance sheet, and they just completely ignore it. Really shows you how honest these people are. Speaking of AI slop, I don't know how much of this I'm actually going to stick around with, because there's still some important things I want to get to with what little time we have left here. We may be going into extra hours. I I know we spent a lot of time on PP seats, but it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. But speaking of AI slop, Michael has gotten to the point where being on camera, I guess, is too much. He's gotten a little scared. He's very shy. He doesn't want to be on camera, and so now he just produces AI slop because he's fucking lazy. In addition to being intellectually deficient. So here's one of these. I don't know how long we're going to sit on this, but I mean, it's a short, so I think we can.
GameStop CEO has a financial trump card hidden in authorized stock buybacks. But how does that actually generate cash? By timing market moves, a company can trade its own stock to lock in.
Next! like a company basically creating its own stock. You can't. I don't. This is the same thing like some of fucking Kevin own shit because he was constant like that was part of his like securities fraud grift while he was at Genius Group, where he basically suggested that whenever people like tanked the stock, that GNS should just when the algos tank the stock, and then when the price is up to just dilute the shit out of people. And like it's one thing if you're doing it like selectively for a financial instrument basis, like the gaps between it, like you've seen it like say Apple, who's got a lot of buybacks, but Apple were to be in a position where they needed equity, they would probably issue shares. A whole lot of different than an orchestrated plan to basically manipulate the share price, which is exactly what Michael's suggesting. I'm not spending 10 minutes on this. I don't even know what the fuck this is about. Why the NSCC avoids certain settlements. The shift to a settlement shift under. I don't think I'm stupid enough to be able to follow this, honestly. I don't like this is the problem with a lot of this baggy stuff. It's like I value my brain cells more than trying to interpret this garbage that makes no sense. Just I can't. Why are all these dudes taking a normal OCC notice due to warrants closing and an expiration and turning it into because they have nothing better to do. They've already lost all their fucking money. So I'm glad you're on top of this, Tony. Maybe you can make a video about it because I'm not that interested and I can't be bothered. This is just dumb. So basically it was just a notice that, once these warrants expire, they're done. Okay. I already explained that one, so I'm going to just skip over that. So we're out of the GameStop zone. Man, this is this one is really silly. This is really silly. I've been posting. I will have a video on it tomorrow. It's been I bet it's just that's the problem with these people. Like their idiocy never stops. Like I have a full-time day job. I can only get around to some of this idiocy once a week. It's tiresome. Gmail is far from the only company to have the exact same notice. I bet 100%. But of course, because you got morons involved, it's got to be special. So this is the not Genius lawsuit, but it is Genius Group. So if you remember from last week, we had the whole Reynolds thing where basically Wes Christian picked up his ball and went to the Southern District of Florida because he didn't like a judge's decision in the Southern District of New York. Last time we were on that case, under Rule 6, the Southern District of New York case, and now Citadel Securities is asking for a transfer back. There's a bit to this that I have understood, having thought on it a bit more, that makes people like, GNS baggies like okay or whatever on X really are missing the point of this. So basically, instead of like dealing with the substantive argument of the motion to transfer, Wes Christian asked for an extension of time. He basically wanted to kick the response to after they had appointed lead plaintiff. And originally I was like, well, he's just trying to drag his feet and buy time. But there is a key thing in the argument here that after reading back through and thinking about it, their entire plan for the extension of time was to get a new lead plaintiff and be able to say, oh, well, you see, with new legal team in here, this really isn't the same lawsuit now, is it? And play that game and try and buy to keep it here in the Southern District of New York. And basically the court saw right through it. Within a day, Citadel and Virtue had its response, and then the court had an order that same day by the evening, basically excoriating the maneuver. Plaintiff Aaron Reynolds filed a punitive class action on July 20, 2026. Defendant Citadel Securities Virtue filed a motion to transfer to the Southern District of New York, denying their previous motion to appoint lead plaintiff cancel here. First, we think it makes sense to resolve the threshold inquiries such as whether our court is the proper venue in the case before exercising our discretion to appoint lead plaintiff. As defendants observe, several other courts have reached similar conclusions and granted transfer motions prior to the appointment of lead plaintiff. Second, we're skeptical of Reynolds' claim that because the transfer motion issues that will significantly shape the future, that the right to decide how best to respond to a motion should be in the hands of the court-appointed plaintiff. It is well-established principle that attorney-client relationships, that the client is responsible for major strategic decisions and the counsel is responsible for tactical ones. The only major strategic decision to make at this juncture is whether to oppose the transfer, and Reynolds, the presumptive lead plaintiff and individual responsible for this action, has already told us that he opposed. If a different lead plaintiff is proposed and appointed, if that plaintiff prefers to litigate in the Southern District of New York, we're sure the defendants would be amenable. Third, plaintiff's counsel is plainly capable of opposing the transfer motion without input from a court-appointed lead plaintiff. Indeed, they spent several pages of the extension motion doing precisely that. So, like, their little gambit to try and work around, because they know they have no arguments here. This was clearly meant to circumvent the Southern District of New York ruling. And now that they couldn't hold it off to get a new plaintiff in the door to keep perpetuating this machine, now we're going to have the motion to transfer. And it'll be interesting to see their response to that, because I don't think it's going to work out so hot for them. And this is going to get transferred back to the Southern District of New York, and there will be sanctions for Wes Christian. No doubt. Like, the absolute gamesmanship of this is kind of absurd. I don't know how he thought that he was going to get away with that, but it'll be interesting. I assume this week we'll have some sort of motion on that because of the deadline, and we'll see where things go from here, because I don't think it's looking so good for Wes, and it's definitely not looking good for GNS. And personally, I'm of the opinion that Wes shouldn't be the only one sanctioned for these shenanigans. The company obviously was party to this, and they should be sanctioned too. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. We'll see from here. But we're already over the normal 3-hour mark that I usually go for, and I only had like a few like meme stock things left. So I think we can be safely done for the night. We had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Hopefully next week we'll have Amy and Platinum back. I will say going forward after, let me look at the calendar here. After this next one on Saturday, it might get a little slow with the live streams I'm doing. They may not be once a week. They might be, once every other week. It really depends on how my schedule is going for this, the rest of the year. Because I'm going to be taking some classes, and that classwork is going to take priority over this live stream. So it really depends on how that works out. Hopefully we'll be able to keep the same schedule, but there may be a decrease in live stream content because of that. But for now, we'll see you all next week.